Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of everyone's favorite raunchy podcast. It is Gaming After Dark with Noof Nukem and friends. I am your host, Boom Boom Kaboom, Mr. Noof Nukem, and as always, standing by with me is my fabulous panel, the man who brings the common back to sense each and every week. It's Titan Drago. What's up?
What's up, everyone? I had an amazing week of gaming, so much so that I had to throw Noof a, you know what, we got to talk about Game of the Year here, a little topic. So we're all going to do that. And yeah, besides that, wild week on Twitter as well. We got, you know, Xbox spent $10 billion on Bethesda, more giant acquisitions coming. The Game Pass subs are on the rise, profits on the rise, and we still got people saying, and I quote, Xbox is done. So I invited someone to join the chat tonight and explain this in depth to me more, and I'm honestly curious like how a human looks past the hard data and has so much hate for the Xbox or whatever he's got hate for that they look right past the facts and, you know, make wild comments. So this is more of like a learning opportunity for me. So if you see this individual in the chat, I'm willing to bet you'll know him when you see him, you know, if they come. But I asked the chat to remain chill, and I have a feeling it'll be hard.
What are you talking about?
Nobody knows what he's talking about.
Let's try and remain respectful no matter what we read. And, you know, it'd be nice to Mooch, too. I love having him on here because he loves Crossfire, pardon the pun, you know, but so do I. And I love having a good back and forth. So thank you all. And thanks for joining us, Mooch. And let's do this.
The teacher is in the house, and it sounds like he's got a class full of ass. So there you go. Let's get down to it. All right. The man of many personalities, and yes, on standby later on the show with Tony Baloney is the middle-aged game guy. Some guys just know him as the Mag, and some people get him confused with one of our guests. But anyway, here he is, the middle-aged game guy.
Yeah, well, good evening, Noof, chat, panel, and look at these guests we got tonight. We got the Ashen Luca, the legend herself, the queen of YouTube, and then, of course, we've got... Wow. Oh, yeah, no. She absolutely is. And let me tell you something else. We've got the other guy. We got that guy, Mooch. And you know what? It's going to be a hell of an exciting show. No, we got that guy, man. And you know what? It's going to be a lot of fireworks tonight, a lot of fun times, a lot of good laughs. Everybody, prepare for one hell of a show. Let's get right into it.
Yes, we're going to have to speed this one up. It's going to be an opinionated and awesome show. It's probably going to be the most opinionated and loud show since Mooch was a panel member on BGST. So, yes, it's going to be good. Speaking of the Mooch, he is here live and in person. Here he is, the Mooch.
Hey, thanks for having me back on, Noof. Honestly, we've been trying to link up and get you on Crossfire, but you're working on Fridays. So, listen, the next best thing is for me to be here on Gaming After Dark. So, it's a privilege to be here, buddy. I can't wait to get into these topics.
Well, it's good to have you. It's been a while. And back as well is the fabulous, like I said, princess of the YouTube. You know her from her fantastic little podcast that she holds on the weekends with a great group of people. It is the Ashen Luca from Scumcast. She is joining us, and always a pleasure to have her and Mooch on the same panel. You know it's going to be a wild one.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me, Noof. You know, it's always good to come and hang out with my guy. You know, the fun part about this is I've been called the female Mooch, and then people are like, Mag sounds just like Mooch, and then we have Mooch here, you know, so I think we're gonna have a fun time with that for sure. Great. But I'm always happy to be here. Mag, thank you so much. Bless you for the kind introduction. That was really nice of you. Thank you.
I meant every word of it.
I kind of left you out, didn't I?
It's okay, man.
I
am used to being forgotten, okay?
No. And you know what, Luke? I even listened to your little that little show you did today. What the hell is that called? Twitter Spaces or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was excellent. I enjoyed that.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad everyone was able to come through.
Oh, I was going to jump in, but
it was nice because
I was mowing the lawn.
There's a lot of people who are not on these podcasts, and it's nice to hear from people in the community, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yes. Yeah, and Optimus Code, actually, 2 days in a row, I've actually listened to him. And you know what? I got to say, you know what? Both days, he actually talked a lot of sense on both days. Yesterday, he talked about Dealer, and he was talking about his relationship, friendship, not relationship, his friendship with Dealer and all that kind of stuff. It was actually really good. And then today, he was talking about the whole, you know, that whole Game Pass thing. Is like I said, he's got criticisms, but he makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not fanboying and all that nonsense, whatever. So
he's a really good guy. He just likes to troll on Twitter. I mean, that's what really
he's just
down to.
He's old.
A few of those.
So, and Mooch, Boo, you are Boo, Mooch, you already know. Always good to hang out with you.
You already know, Luca. This is, I mean, I got to be honest with you. Noof, he could sell the show, but he's like, Luca's coming on. I'm like, oh, then I'm booked. That's it. It's done.
You're like, I've already
done.
my way.
I've been sitting here waiting since. That's,
he did the same thing. He was like, Luca, you want to come on? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, Mooch is going to be there. I'm okay. Oh, I'm already on my way. I'm there.
Well, me and Luca have been here since Saturday.
It's like having a perfect tag team. You know, this is like the WWE of podcasting.
Well, it's good because Luca grounds me too a little bit. You know what I mean? So if it's a little too overexcited, Luca will be like, let's just chill out and get back to the facts here. So that's great. I'm glad Luca's here this late. We can get delirious this late on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm always happy to hang out with my Noof as well. You know, he's been someone who's been supporting me since day one. Someone who is very, very willing to discuss things with me. You know,
that could have went all kinds of ways here on Gaming After Dark.
I know that sounds weird, but it's like I have a very particular personality quirk, and some people do not vibe with it. And Noof's always been respectful. So,
amen to that. Preach
and Drago, always good to hang out with you, bro. I love your energy.
Speaking of the community, we have got one of the best ones here. A lot of familiar faces who show up at most of our podcasts as well. Speaking of, Doggy Dog is in the house, and he drops his first super chat, $1.99. Welcome to the safe house. Fiddly diddly. Indeed. And we also have we've got another $5 super chat coming in from our good friend Dirt Greedy of the We Bleed Green podcast. Dirt is here. He says, oh snap, Luke and Mooch. I'm waiting for a throwback of MNC in the morning with Mooch and Crap back capping for Xbox, but I doubt it though.
Luke, I gotta know. He said you're the queen. Like what did you get like upgraded from? You got a promotion or something recently?
Well, we know she's now taller.
You're now the she's now the queen. Maybe you were just the princess before.
Well, Noof calls me princess, but people have been calling me like the queen of Xbox for years now. I don't know why.
So it's just Mag that's just way behind.
Queen of YouTube, not Xbox.
YouTube. Yeah. Queen of YouTube.
She's conquering lands over here. Digital lands.
You guys are fun.
Great people in the chat. Let's give them a quick shout out and then we'll move right into it, guys. Timothy Dixon is in the house. Like I said, Doggy Dog is here as well. Assassin Lupa, how are you, girl? Good to see you. Draven Arrow, what is going on? We have got a mass hole. I'm saying that over and over and over again. Caper Grant, what's happening? Rob, the Halo Slayer himself, is in the house. My good friend Ryan Galloway is here hanging out with us as well. We've got Spider-Man 356. Hello, Depka, what's going on? Toolman 55. Joe, oh, never mind. Meg's going to say that one.
What? He's here. Joe Dunmore. Fantastic. I love him.
Yes, Joe Dunmore in the house. What is happening? Good. Kylo Milo is here. Dreadpool is in the house. Yes, indeed. We got a great crew today. Papa Woody. There's another fantastic name. Gone Mad is here as well. Fun Speculation. Our good friend Mav is hanging out with us. We have got great crew already. All right, let's get down to it, people. First off, it's caused quite a stir a little bit today. IGN put out an article, Outriders. They don't even know how many copies apparently they were sold, and they haven't seen any royalties because I guess that's based on largely about the amount of games that they actually sell. So of course the first finger pointed is Game Pass is not selling these games, basically, I guess is what the point that people are trying to put out there. I personally think that Outriders, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, it got a lot of notoriety, got a lot of users, largely due to Game Pass. I don't think a lot of us would have went out and shelled out the $60, $70, $80 for that game had it not been on Game Pass anyway. So let's find out how we feel about it. And I'll let anybody take the floor in this. I don't have a ton to say, but I can't wait to hear what our guest's going to say. And I think Mag has been riled up on this one. So who wants at her first?
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Get the guests get it.
Go ahead, guests.
Real
Luca.
quick, I know that people were trying to draw a correlation between what People Can Fly said and then somehow that it attributing to Xbox Game Pass being a failure and failing this title. That being said, I would like to remind people that based off the article, the developers did not say anything really about Xbox Game Pass. The only implication was that Square Enix did not give them their royalties because the game wasn't profitable, but that is an implication they have. They don't actually know for sure, Square Enix themselves said the game did well and did better than they had expected it to do, not just in sales, but also in player count as well. What else? Outriders was number 3 on the NPD for April. And let's see here. That was for between, what were the dates? I can't remember the dates, but it had done well that month that it came out as well. The game listen, we actually don't know if the game did well or not past that first month because we haven't received any numbers other than that. They're not saying for sure that the game didn't sell well. They don't know. They don't know because Square Enix hasn't shared it with them. It seems like the case for me seems like Square Enix, they're being sketchers, which wouldn't be surprising given their past history. We could talk about the Tomb Raider fiasco. We could talk about the Avengers game. Like, they're sketchy when it comes to this stuff, unfortunately. That being said, what else do I want to say about this? Also, people can fly. I mean, sucks to suck, I guess. Like, your game was a broken, buggy mess. Over here, wiping people's inventories, crashing the game. I remember I was trying to fight this boss, and the game crashed on me 3 times. I documented all of it on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, I'm turning this off. Like, the game had so many issues, and maybe if the game didn't do well after that first month, it's because of word of mouth, and people just knew to steer clear. What else did I want to say? Also, Xbox Game Pass saved me from spending money on that because I was going to buy it on the PlayStation. I was going to give them my money, but I'm glad I didn't because of their behavior on social media and how they've acted ever since this game launched. Their social media guy who, man, I don't normally wish this on people, but I do not believe he should be in the position he's in, given his inability to handle the stress that comes along with it. Social media dude was on Twitter, and he said, I called my mother because I was so upset. And she told me to tell these mean gamers to stop it. And I was just like, you're sick. You're disgusting. I'm disgusted with you. Like, it's gross. I was so angry about it. My video got taken down on YouTube because I was wilding, So, why? I mean, listen, hopefully better luck next time with whatever next title they come out with. But as far as I'm concerned, they screwed a lot of people over. And, Outriders launched on every platform except for the Switch. So it's like trying to attribute it to Game Pass doesn't make sense. Xbox has the least amount of consoles out there. So it would make, and also they only had 3.5 million players in that first month out of the hundreds and hundreds of millions of consoles there are, along with the users on Steam. Like, there's just
along with how many Game Pass subs. That when I saw that number, Luca, I was like shocked at how low that was. Were you? Like 3.5 million people that played it.
It was really low, and they didn't specify which platform. It was for everything. So it's
for everything.
No one is playing this game, unfortunately. But man, whatever. Like, is it I mean, we don't know for sure. Like I said, Square Enix came out. They said the game was successful. Just from that initial launch, that is. It did well with the NPD. So as far as we know from that first month, it's successful. But anything after that, dude, I don't know. Like, it doesn't look good, but we don't know the numbers. So.
But that's my question for you guys. Do you think it's a bigger gamble for a game that sort of has the bigger budget, say potentially the AAA stuff to launch in Game Pass, fully knowing, some games sell themselves. We heard the Rockstar guys basically say like they believe that they don't have to put giant games like Grand Theft Auto and Game Pass, and I believe that to be true because the game will sell itself. But other ones like this being a new IP as well with Outriders, do you feel as like this sets a precedent going forward, or maybe people are a little bit sketchy because they're like, can we break even, or how do you feel about that side?
I think first of all, there's a few things to break down. Noof, great points you just made. Actually, those are questions that we should be asking. But I got to say, Luca made a great point. First of all, whenever something does well or not, it doesn't matter if we're talking about a video game, we're talking about individual academics, it doesn't matter. It comes down to the actual product or the output, right, for that individual or that product. And in this case, the game was a broken mess when it launched. Okay, so that doesn't speak very well to the game. I think the other part of it that we have to kind of dive into is the lack of trust right now in messaging coming out from everybody, and I don't mean us, I mean the publishers, I mean the devs, I mean the media. Like we've all said, everyone has said this. I don't think anyone would argue it. Square Enix came out and said the game's a success, right? It's done very well. Here's another quote. Square Enix believes Outriders Xbox Game Pass launch has paid off. Square Enix believes the decision to make Outriders available on Xbox Game Pass on the day of its release paid off in terms of player acquisition. I mean, these are all things that have been coming out in the media for the past, and it's been reported by the publishers come out and said this. And you stop and you look at it and you say, were they full of shit? Was it false propaganda? Was it a hype train they were trying to get us on? Where maybe if you were on the fence of either purchasing it on Xbox, PlayStation, or maybe grabbing it on or downloading it on Xbox Game Pass, what was the intent of all this messaging? And then you find out months later, it wasn't a success. It kind of flopped a bit. Again, it goes back to the problems with the game, but then it's the messaging. And that's what I don't understand. The other question that I kind of been thinking about, and I was trying to listen to all the great things that were going on with the, Luca, what are those called there? The Twitter.
The Twitter Spaces.
The Twitter Spaces, which outstanding. You, Code, did an amazing job. Shout out also to, what was it? Jay did an awesome one, J-Dub and King Thrash. And here's the thing. The thing about it that I thought was really, really interesting is that when we had situations where games are coming out on Game Pass day and date, which we've only had a couple of the real big ones, right? And that is Outriders, and then we also had MLB The Show, right? But anytime anything goes into Game Pass, and this is where I think you see a bit of the frustration in the community as a whole, is they say, oh, the game sold well. They don't say the game sold well on one particular platform. They just say the game sold well. And everyone's like, but I was told when it's on Game Pass, it can't sell. Well, that's the thing. Everybody praises Game Pass. So then when something like this happens, it kind of comes back to Noof's question full circle. Is our companies, our publishers, our developers now a bit weary when they find out that they're going to put this on there, maybe make a chunk of money up front, but is that enough money to actually cover costs? Maybe they thought that others would be picking it up on other consoles, and that didn't happen. And that's what fell short here. So there's just an odd thing going on with Game Pass that nobody knows. I don't know. If you guys know, please, I'll pick up the popcorn and take a listen. But the thing is, they don't talk about numbers unless there's a spike after they do a huge sale. We haven't heard anything about Game Pass numbers like we did subscription. You're not going to hear anything till Halo comes out. You're not. Once Halo comes out and they spike again, boom, extravaganza. We're going to hear about it, and then you won't hear about it again. It's a sine curve. It goes up, it peaks, and it drops. And that's the thing here. So we don't know what's going on with Game Pass. Microsoft doesn't say anything, right? So there's people that praise Game Pass for what it is, and that's fine. I have it, right? But at the same time, it's like we don't know if this subscription-based service moving forward is helping developers or is it not? You have companies that have the small, right? We had that small, I don't remember if it's the Senders or what it was. It was an actual game, right, with the bike. That game was never going to sell a lot anyways. It goes on Xbox Game Pass. He comes out and says, hey, we did great.
Yep.
Yeah, well, if you had a lemonade stand on a cul-de-sac, right, where there's nobody going, and then all of a sudden you move that lemonade stand just over to a regular lane in a neighborhood, you get more traffic. The point of the matter is they got no traffic. They were going to be in a cul-de-sac. Nobody was going to buy that game. They moved the Game Pass. They said, hey, we sold a lot. Well, you sold a lot more, but you didn't maybe sell a lot, right? You didn't do GTA numbers. You're not doing COD numbers, right? So my point being is that none of these numbers are ever revealed. We don't know. And that's where I think you hear the frustration in the community. It's because we don't know any of the numbers. And then you see this happen, and it does strike people. It's kind of like a left hook because we all thought, me being one of them, that Outriders was a tremendous success. And then we find out that it's not. And I wondered, I'm like, well, what? Who was telling us this misinformation months ago? And I think that that's the kind of questions that I want to see the community bring up. Like, question the people that were saying things were doing very, very well when they weren't. All right. In this case, it's the publisher. But I'm just trying to say, like, that's the thing is there's a lot of missing variables when we get in these discussions. And that's what I'm wondering what you guys think about this.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the story is so interesting.
Real quick, let me just catch up with the super chats before they fade out here. Sir X-Men dropping into the house tonight. Sir X-Men, how are you? He says, hello, good show, everyone. Noof, yes, glad to see you here, man. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Doggy Dog once again coming back at us with another $1.99 super chat. Love this amazing chat. Well, we love you, Doggy Dog. You're awesome, man. Keep it up. Sorry, Titan, how about her?
I was saying that's why this is interesting because, like Mooch and Luca said, like we got all these quotes of positivity out there for a while, but these quotes are not adding up now, right? It's just it's a formula that doesn't quite equal what it's supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick, I'm sorry to say this again, but we don't actually know if the game flopped. So, yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. That's. No, I mean I think the biggest point here,
we don't know.
I think the biggest thing to take away from this story is I think the dev people can fly. I think those guys are getting ripped off to the max. I think how do they not know how many copies this game sold? How in the fuck do you sign a deal with someone and you're not privy to, like you're not gonna like, all right, Mooch. Yes. Mooch. Yes. If you went into business with someone, say on a fucking restaurant,
yes,
okay, and you're like, fucking, you put this restaurant together, and they said, man, we're gonna give you a royalty of how many fucking dishes we sold tonight, and you're like, okay, but we're not gonna tell you how many fucking dishes.
Right, I want to know those dishes. I gotta know a number.
What the fuck?
That's the point I'm trying to make here. Is there's no, and there's few people in the chat saying there's no misinformation, but there's definitely something that's missing, right? I mean, Titan, I agree with you 100% on that. There's something not being told to us. There's numbers missing, and then there's just speculation on it, and it's like
if you're
like Luca said it herself. She said, "Do we know it's a flop?" I mean, Luca, according to the devs don't seem pleased, but other than that, we don't know.
This is what the devs said. They said that, all right, let's see here. We don't have any sales figures for Outriders. We estimate it's between 2 and 3 million units and assume that this was a result that would ensure profitability for this project in the first quarter of sales. The lack of payment by the publisher probably, keyword probably, means that according to Square Enix, this is not the case. Perhaps it was caused by some elements of Square Enix's sales policy, the details of which we do not know, such as partnerships concluded by the publisher with distribution platforms or entities offering Outriders as an addition to their products. Failure to achieve the level of profitability may also mean that the costs incurred by the publisher are higher than expected. But I don't want to speculate. We will analyze the situation further. It is worth noting, however, that such explanations take time and our influence on the publisher's position is limited. So this is speculation based off, okay, I do not know how to say Homeboy's name, but I'll say People Can Fly president. His name's Sebastian, and he's got, I can't pronounce his last name. But once again, we don't know how well the game sold or not. This is speculation on their part because Square Enix is not giving them their data. And, it's even to the point where Sebastian was like, working with the publisher has many advantages, but also its disadvantages. One of them is the low impact of People Can Fly on sales activities and the incompleteness, or as in this case, the lack of data obtained from the publisher in this regard. This is one of the reasons why, apart from working with publishers, we have decided to develop projects whose IP will remain the property of the company and which will be published by the company. So the issue here is Square Enix is not giving them the data that they need, and they're not paying them either. So for me, it seems like something's going on Square Enix's part. I don't remember who said this, but whoever said it said that Square Enix probably pocketed the Game Pass money, and the devs didn't see any of that. Now I don't know whether or not that's true or not. I don't know the intricacies.
I would default to that. I would default to that being true. Yeah, we don't know.
Made there, so
we don't know, but that sure sounds like what's going on, because like if they don't know how many copies are being sold, then they probably don't know what that deal was worth, which that deal should at least go towards, their bottom line, which they got to cover, which then supposedly then they can start earning royalties once they cover their basis or whatever. That's the way this, and this is going to come down to essentially, contracts and the way you write up a contract. And it looks like this dev, People Can Fly, are really getting just screwed over in the worst way. And I wonder if this is their way of like bringing that to light without, some animosity. Do you know what I mean?
What publisher hasn't screwed over a dev? Can you name one?
Well, can you name? Well, hold on. Well, can you name another instance like them getting screwed over like this?
How many times have you heard of developer teams like from EA, for example, complaining about EA when EA was hitting the 4th, 5th year in a row of being worst company to work for? What was the one thing that they were saying that a lot of these devs were saying from these teams that worked for EA, or the EA was their publisher? They were saying that they weren't getting the appropriate royalties and their payments for the products that they made for them.
That's also why
that is also small print. That is small print that the developers legal team needs to hash that out. And if that's not hashed out, or if they're not informed or educated on how those contracts work, then they shouldn't speak out about it. Like this guy here. Okay, I got to tell you about this guy here. What's his name here? Sebastian Volkachowski there. Okay, this guy. No, that's actually his name. Is Volkachowski. Okay, that guy there. By speaking out like this, it's either he's in the right and they are screwing him. But here's the thing, though. If he's right, he would have consulted his legal team. As a CEO, you consult your legal team. You don't go to the media. That is the one thing that, what is the one thing that the legal team always says? Shut up.
Well, when something needs to change fundamentally, you bring it to the media.
Right. So what I'm saying is maybe that they felt in the back end that they thought that maybe that Square Enix was going to be a little bit more lenient with them, or perhaps a little bit more generous, and then they weren't. And this sounds like a little bit of a lashing out situation. Now I'm going to jump into this because now I'm here talking. The thing is that pisses me off about this whole story is that the only two news media outlets that, if you could believe it, that actually got this right was Forbes and Eurogamer. Okay, because if you actually look at the titles of what they actually said, Outriders dev doesn't know sales, hasn't been paid royalties by Square Enix. Okay, that was Forbes. Eurogamer says Outriders dev says Square Enix yet to pay its royalty fee. That answers the question in one sentence. There is no need to talk about it. There's no Game Pass. There's no nothing. That is the reality of the situation. Then you've got asshats like this Tom's Guy Dickface. He goes, Xbox Game Pass hurts Outrider sales. What the fuck kind of clickbait bullshit is that? You tell me that you're just looking for clicks and traffic on your site by putting something stupid like that. And what does that do? You just lit a match in a pool full of gasoline when you've got a bunch of fanboys all sitting around just waiting for shit to happen. Because, guys, let's face it, it's the middle of the summer, end of the summer, and there's no news coming out right now. Is PlayStation having a show? Nobody knows. Is Xbox going to give a Halo release date? Who the hell knows, right? But that's what's, you know what I'm saying? So nobody's got anything going on right now. This guy just threw that match into that pool full of gasoline and just blew it up. Now, here's the thing. I got a couple things I want to say here about this, apart from what I've already said. When you look at something like MLB The Show, Mooch was talking about MLB The Show. I looked it up, and actually they sold approximately 4 million. And if you could believe it, it was borderline 50-50, about 2 million sold on Xbox and 2 million sold in the PlayStation ecosystem. And that didn't include Game Pass numbers. So you know what it was? Guys, at the end of the day, it was a quality, whether you like baseball or not, it's a quality game. The thing is that with Outriders, even though I got 1,000 out of 1,000 on it, I enjoyed it, and I had no bugs, no glitches, no whatever. I got lucky there. But the thing is, for a lot of people, it wasn't. It wasn't up to quality. I would have given that, like a lot of people would have given that a 6 out of 10 or whatever, right? So quality plays a major role in this situation. When you've got people that are engaged for a short period of time, and just like Luca said, you hear the word of mouth because gamers talk. Gamers are on Twitter. Gamers are on Facebook. Gamers are on YouTube. Gamers are listening to podcasts, right? And they'll balk. Okay, they'll just be like, oh, I'm not going to get that. Maybe I'll get it on sale or something like that. So there's that. There's the quality issue, the performance issue. You know, that's another thing. Square Enix looks at it. Now, there are people out there saying there's approximately 2 to 3 million sales of this game. Okay, that's obviously not that's, you know, what is the average now? It's supposed to be about 5 to be considered profitable for most reasonable AAA games, something like that. Okay, so maybe it didn't hit the mark. So maybe Square Enix said, you know what, we didn't hit the mark. Therefore, and let's face it, they're also reeling from a $63 million loss from Marvel's Avengers, which they're still trying to pick up the pieces from that. They're probably saying that people can't fly, or people can fly. They're probably like, hey, you know what? We didn't hit the mark. You don't get it. I work for a corporation. If you don't hit your numbers, you don't get your Christmas bonus. That's the way it works. All right. So maybe this guy's pissed off. He goes, we put a lot of time and effort into this, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, go right ahead. You could say all that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that pisses me off too is another thing about this Game Pass thing. I don't want to get too deep into that. But the Game Pass thing, there's a paradigm shift that's happening in this business right now. It's happened in every other form of media already, and it's already established. The last remaining flag that is still flying in the traditional method, so to speak, is the gaming industry. The movie industry has moved on to what they got to do. They have the hybrid sort of thing, right? The movie theater and then the home thing. But look what COVID did. COVID basically decimated the movie theater situation. And even if things get better, I think it'll still be lukewarm because people would rather sit at home for $30 and watch a movie instead of paying $130 to bring a family of 4 to go see the next Marvel movie. All right. So they're going to be doing that. What happened to Spotify? Is anybody buying the new album so they could have one song and then 12 crappy songs? No, they're getting Spotify now so they can pay their $15 a month and get whatever song they want. Same thing with Netflix, same thing with Amazon Prime, blah, 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 Disney Plus, and all this stuff. Now, Game Pass comes in. And what it is I think that it's a little bit of resistance because people don't like change. People are not interested in change. They're not interested in change. I think that if people have the foresight of seeing where the business is going, they understand that change is coming. I think that it has more to do with the fact that it's the platform that they're not happy with. I bet you if this was PlayStation, which is the global brand, which let's face it, for the last 8 years has been, the market leader, not the market leader because actually Nintendo is, but they are the mind share. Yeah. Sony is the mind share for the last 8 years, right? After the PS3 era and the 360 era. So therefore, I think people would have been more in tune to do that. But to see the quote unquote, even though they're a $2 trillion corporation, the underdog changing the industry, it's pissing some people off because they would have rather seen their team do it, Team Blue do it or whatever, right? Yeah. And that is where I think that people are trying to poke holes into this situation. Same thing happened when Blockbuster Video came out. Yeah. Hollywood tried to sue them. Okay, if anybody's old enough to remember this, when they first started this business, they're saying, you're cutting into our business. And then same thing with Netflix. Then Hollywood tried to sue Netflix for the same thing. Is because people don't want any pieces of their pie to go to somebody else. They want it all for themselves, for their own situations. Now it's happening in the game industry. Yeah. People are up in arms and all this other bullshit. The Hades thing, my God, could you pull any more fucking straws? They're like 93% sold on PlayStation, 7% on Xbox. That's a headline. Then you read the article. It was physical sales in the UK. What? All 20 fucking copies? Who the hell's buying indie games on a physical, for Christ's sake? And then they're not including digital sales, and of course they're not including the engagement in Game Pass. So it's just all stupid. At the end of the day, change is coming.
Yeah, and I got something to say to that in a second, but let's catch up with the super chats real quick. King Thrash Gaming is here. What's happening, King Thrash? Companies always lie to the customers. They say whatever they can to sell a product. Hype equals engagement equals sales. Eternal Shaddai follows it up with $5. What's going on, Shaddai? Question tonight: does it give credit to Sean Layden after the Xbox Game Pass comment being at risk and losing money? Good question. And then down here we got Caper Grant, my good buddy. Caper, he drops $10 Canadian. Great to see Mooch and Luca on the panel tonight. Thanks for keeping me sane at work. Have a great show. Here's my real take, and then I'll let Titan or whoever else wants to jump in on this. I'm just going to say one thing here. There's one thing that's for certain. Game Pass has definitely been a huge boost. I mean, it's great for the gamers, bar none, but it's been a real boost for the indie devs more than anything. And the crazy part is while some of these big perhaps overhyped games like Outriders come in on day one, they draw a lot of people in, right? I'm sure there's probably at least a faction of people out there who perhaps dropped a subscription to Game Pass because Outriders was there day and date, right? No doubt. I'm sure there was at least some people. Perhaps it wasn't me or anyone on this panel, but it happens, right? And that's what Microsoft is counting on, is that people will subscribe based on the big titles, whether it be their own first-party games or some third-party stuff to tide the tides while they're waiting for those first-party games. It seems like an eternity. But the real winners are the indie people, the indie game developer. Because it's like the thing is people are going in for the big games, but while you're going in for the big AAAs and you're going in for the ones that are, the names that and trust, it's like Spotify. like most of us, when you get Spotify, you're going to go there and listen to your favorite artist. The first thing you're going to probably look up is the people that you know, the Metallicas of the world, or whoever it might be that you really enjoy at the time. But then you're going to discover hundreds of other artists that perhaps you never heard before. Because again, you're not having to pay for the album. So there you go. There's no harm, no foul. You know, you can jump in and listen to whatever you want, as much as you want, for, that sort of thing. And I think the same thing rings true with Game Pass. You know, it doesn't take away from the fact that Outriders perhaps, there was lots of engagement. So Outriders had its fair share of success. I mean, Outriders would have never had the same engagement guaranteed on its opening month if it wasn't for Game Pass. Mag played the living devil out of the game and enjoyed it, and a lot of people I talked to did. It had its flaws, but it definitely had the engagement. Now, the key is when this game goes out of Game Pass, will it still be able to sell? Will people that like the game, will they actually go out and physically buy a copy, or will they purchase it digitally once it leaves, or maybe it's there for a long time? So this is solely on Square Enix, but not paying them. Like Luca said, like, you got to read the article and you got to know the facts. This isn't a Game Pass thing, but it's turned into a Game Pass thing once again. It's all about misinformation or the lack thereof. Microsoft's partly to blame too with the way they handle a lot of things. Like I said, they like to tout numbers whenever they're high, but they often skip out or don't say anything at all when numbers aren't overly favorable, right? So it's kind of like it's not what you said, it's what you didn't say, and people, of course, make up their own minds and their own levels of propaganda to go along with it. So I'll just leave it at that. And anybody else want to finish off commenting on this?
Yeah, one closing statement. For me, like Game Pass, to me, it gets that hype wheel rolling. Okay, don't underestimate the hype wheel. Right, every game's got to have it. If your game doesn't have hype, it falls to the wayside, because there are way too many games nowadays that release daily now, and if it has no hype, it's left in the dust, collecting dust in the digital corner over there, And in response to Mooch, like as far as like Game Pass helping devs, in my opinion, I think it just has to. Otherwise, there wouldn't be like a 6-month waiting list just to get, just to give your game away at the cost of Game Pass subs. It's that hype wheel, man. People want to get on that hype wheel, and no other company is giving developers that option right now. That's the give and take kind of thing. And then Mag said people, hate change, and I'm going to add to that. People really hate change for the better. I've noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I sure have. Like, I don't want to get political, but this is more of like a good versus evil kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But look at how many people still wanted Trump for president. Okay. And like I said, this is more of like a good versus evil. Like, people fighting to keep that racist president they love, and then people fighting, it's the same thing as like people fighting to keep the industry lead, and hate on Xbox and Game Pass. They're as soon as Game Pass rolled around, boy, oh boy, did that Xbox hate ramp up, And it's kind of the same. They go hand in hand, man. People really hate change for the better.
I'm going to touch on one last thing that Titan just said, not just said, but he said earlier about games that if the game doesn't hit, people tend to forget about it. If you think about like what's happening with PlayStation right now and the PC, when they released those super high quality PS4 games from 3 years ago, which we're hearing the rumors now that you're going to get the God of War on PC and whatever, that game is of quality. 3 years old or not, when that hits PC, it's going to sell incredibly well, because that's something that like I said, when I was, talking about Outriders, okay, it's the quality will always stand the test of time. People will go back to it and they will play it, and they will, because they know the pedigree of that particular IP, right? So that when God of War hits PC, it's going to sell like gangbusters. If The Last of Us hits, whether you like the story or not, okay, I loved it. But when it hits, eventually, if it hits PC, because they got Nixus there now working on whatever they're working on, moving their games over, it's going to sell well. Days Gone, loved it, sold well. A lot of people didn't like it, but guess what? It still had a good pedigree, and it still sold well on PlayStation. On PC. Outriders is not going to do anything beyond what it did, because it didn't have the chops to stand the test of time. And therefore, it's not going to be remembered in a year from now. And so when the next looter shooter comes out, it's gone, and no one's going to ever think about it again. And that's the bottom line.
Yep.
I think.
Well, let's hope that people
can
fly, because I got a feeling that Square Enix is ready to put some out the window.
I do think that one of the interesting things, though, and it's funny because and Luca, you talk to this a lot, and it's funny. Nobody ever wants to have I enjoy good conversation, good back and forth. Titan's made some great points on Game Pass. So has Mag and Noof. But Luca gets this. I think when I just posed this question is, we are in our gaming community, and the people in the chat that come to my show, come to your show, come to Luca's. It doesn't matter which show you go to. We are the hardcore. We discuss hardcore gaming. The things that we discuss day in and day out are things that casual gamers, or even, we shouldn't even say casual gamers, even gamers that just come home. The question I have, and I never get a great answer, and I don't know if there really is an answer, but I played Hivebusters 3 months after it came out, and I got rare achievements. Yeah. I'm currently more than 50% through the Ascent, and except for the first 2 achievements, they've all been rare achievements. So if everyone's playing Game Pass and everybody's loving Game Pass and everybody talked about the Ascent, and we just had a few people on the panel say that it's about the smaller developer. It's about the smaller guys. That's why we got this. Why is nobody playing the games?
Too many.
Why are nobody? They're not playing the game. It's a lot of talk.
What games are you talking about, Mooch?
Well, the Ascent. The Ascent is completely all rare achievements.
He's actually not wrong, because I am an achievement hunter too. I'm a completionist, and I like to finish the games. And it is true. Like I got my 1,000 out of 1,000 on the Ascent.
Congratulations, by the way, man.
Except I got locked out of 2 achievements, which was bullshit. I actually sent it off to the devs, and I said, "What is this?" And it actually shows 0.00% of players on lock.
They're all like, we didn't actually expect people to finish the game.
Yeah, we didn't think anybody would get there.
And I did. Yeah. But you know what the thing is, though? Mooch is not wrong. Because out of the 40 achievements, 30 achievements, they were all rare except for the first one, which was start the game.
Right. Yeah. The first 2 were not
5 points for starting the game. And Hivebusters, the same thing. I thought this is a travesty because this game is magnificent.
And that's one of the flagships, Mag. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is you can go ahead and make all your cases against the Ascent if you want to, even though everybody said this is the reason I got Game Pass. I've been waiting for the Ascent for 2 E3s. We've been seeing everything. Everybody's heads were blowing off, right, on Twitter. And now all of a sudden, nobody's playing it. But Hivebusters, that's a Gears franchise. That is a staple in the Xbox portfolio. And I popped the rare achievement for finishing that legitimately 3.5 months after it came out. So what I'm saying is that if everyone has it and everybody loves it, what's everybody doing with it?
So real quick, I did want to talk about this. I really think that we have to keep in mind that the Xbox hardcore on Twitter don't actually amount to how many people have Game Pass and use it. You know what I mean? So it's like you see people on social media, on your timeline, or in these podcasts saying, "Yeah, I beat this game. I played this game," and that's great and everything. But it's like, just because they beat it and played it doesn't mean everyone else is.
Well, Luca, I want to rephrase though. I don't mean beat it. I'm talking about legitimately the third achievement, which is just something you'd have to play probably about 45 minutes of the game. Is a rare achievement.
Mike,
I got all the achievements I got all the achievements for Hivebusters in one night with Cybernox. Shout out to Cybernox, good dude.
Let me tell you,
I got all 230 achievements, whatever the hell it was, or 230 points, whatever. I got it in one sitting. With one other player.
I mean, I'm not trying to, this isn't even really this is what I'm saying. If you just played the game for a bit, you would have knocked these out of the park. Like, it's not like
I played the whole thing in less than 3 hours.
And don't get me wrong, it's not about maybe people don't want to or this and that. I'm just saying, like, there was articles written, this is what we've been waiting for. Like, there's just tons of the Ascent is on its way. It's finally arriving. Game Pass is finally going to start getting the games that we've been waiting for on day and date. And it's like, I'm just trying to say, like, I'm playing them. I got to be honest with you. I love the Ascent.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And it's like, I genuinely love the game. Like, I've been playing, if anyone's following me on Xbox, I'm playing it since it came out. I'm enjoying it.
Games. I haven't beaten Mass Effect Trilogy yet. I haven't beaten Outriders yet.
That's a career, Noof.
I played 30 minutes probably of the Ascent.
Mass Effect Trilogy.
Like,
you'll be able to give that game to your kids and your will.
I told people this before. That was one of the reasons it was so long to convert me to Game Pass. I'm like, all I'm doing is paying for a service that 90% of it I can't use anyway. I'm not going to find the time. You can add 1,000 games on Game Pass. How many of those am I going to find the time to play? I can't even catch up with my old backlog from years ago. Like, kudos to you guys if you're able to pound them out, but I don't know how you do it. I can't. I don't know, man. I'm trying my best, but between life and everything else, I think I fit into that percentage of people that got way more to play than they can dedicate time to getting to. I think that's big. Let me catch up with the super chats real quick. King Thrash, I missed his earlier. The real information is the contract between Square and People Can Fly. Square is a vet in the industry. They took advantage of the dev. That's what his opinion.
You know what? I agree.
With in the two damn freaking chats that he sent. Those two dang things made a lot of sense.
Yes.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of disagreements on the other things he says, but those two things I agree with a lot.
Dude, when you watch Netflix, are you able to watch every fucking show that's on? Like, there's no chance. I still haven't watched Ozark yet. It's like on my 3-year, like, my list, and I just can't get to the damn thing. Netflix and all of a sudden I get distracted by, like,
Netflix itself, Meg, is also competition for your gaming space and time. So if I'm watching movies and TV shows, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not gaming.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm out riding my motorcycle, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not gaming. Yeah. You know, all of these things are competition for your time, your money, this sort of thing. Like I said, maybe some people are phenomenal at really managing their time, or they dedicate to a certain game. I find it in my day and age now, I've got gaming ADD, because I find it really hard to focus on one and just pound through it. It's sort of like I kind of get bored. I did manage to beat the medium because that wasn't crazy long and it was story focused. And as soon as I get into those open world, run over here, run over there, I'm fucking lost, man. Those games just lose me so quick because they're not narrative driven. It's just kind of do shit at your own accord. I don't know. Again, I'm part of that.
Noof, it's not about that. I think a lot of people, and some people in the chat, I'm trying to explain this to them. It's not about I care. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm just trying to say, everyone that listens to this show pays attention to you, Noof, and to all of us on Twitter, or to most people on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just making a point that everybody was excited for these games, right? I can't wait for Gears Hive Busters. I can't wait for this and that. I'm not telling, shout out to Cerebral Paul, who I'm a big fan of. Played a lot of PGA golf with him. Great guy. Love hanging out with Cerebral Paul. But my point being is, Paul, is I'm not saying you can't take your time. Mag agreed with me. The third or fourth achievement, which you get it's not about taking your time. It's the first half hour, is a rare achievement.
Okay,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I mean, I'm not judging. I'm asking.
Okay, I just want to say once again, the people in this community take up a very small margin compared to what's actually going on with Game Pass.
That's
the people
true.
In this space who say they're playing these games, if they're posting their achievements along with it, I believe them. There's a lot of issues with particularly Xbox gamers. They don't, for some reason, want to share their achievements or their gamer tag. And my assumption whenever that happens is that they are hiding it for a reason because they haven't actually played the game. So there's that. Maybe people are actually trying out the game and deciding that they don't like it. But as I stated before, there are people in this particular community, they're actually playing the game, but they don't amount for everything going on in Game Pass. And I will definitely say, I downloaded the medium, tried it for 5 minutes, and uninstalled it immediately. I was like, absolutely fucking not. I am not playing this. I remember watching you on stream, Mooch, and I was like, boo. Yep. What are we doing?
You're like, love you, but I'm out.
I'm out of here.
Right?
It was so boring, in my opinion.
It was tough.
I didn't vibe with it. So, I will say I didn't play Hive Busters, and I did not play the Ascent. I don't have any interest in those games. But my game share partner, who I get Game Pass through, because I don't have it myself other than on PC, but I'm going to get rid of that because I had it for the Dead Space franchise, but Dead Space is coming back, so you already know. But I get Xbox Game Pass from my game share partner. My game share partner is a achievement hunter, so he is 100% playing these games, getting the 1,000, posting it on social media. I'm retweeting his stuff. He's someone who is beating these games, but for Hive Busters and the Ascent, these games are being played by people in our community, but everyone else, I don't know. It's just, if you're getting rare achievements, that would mean that people aren't playing it. And if people aren't playing it, maybe they just don't want to play it. But I don't.
So you're saying that speaks to the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I agree with that. But that comes back to the question: are the games going into Game Pass worthy? Right, Luca? I'm just asking questions.
It depends on your perception of what's worthy or not. Like value is different for every
Absolutely.
gamer.
Values.
I personally
that's right.
have always held this viewpoint that while I do believe that Game Pass is a great deal, it's not for me because there's nothing in there that I want to play currently. But I have plenty of people who I've talked to and I've come to, and this is, anecdotal. This is all like just based off my experience with other people that have said, hey, Luca, I use Game Pass to try out these different games. I play these games. I find these games I really enjoy. Then I end up buying the game because I want to support the developer further, or I want to play other games in the franchise. I'm experiencing new titles. Sarah Bond came out and said Game Pass is doing well. She even did the percentages, and I posted it somewhere on Twitter as well. But it's like Game Pass is for the people who want it. And if there's nothing in Game Pass that you find valuable, that's perfectly fine. But there are other people who have different tastes and perceptions of value for them. I personally have a lot of time in Destiny, and it's like, even though Destiny content showed up on Game Pass, like the Beyond Light stuff, I still paid for the game because that's my game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like it really just depends on the person when it comes to the Game Pass situation and their perceived idea of value. You can't just say, well, the Game Pass isn't getting this game, Game Pass isn't getting this game, therefore it's not worthy. Or what word did you use? Was it worthy?
Worthy's fine, I guess you could say.
I guess I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think you make a good point, Luca, and I mean that I'm actually in the same exact boat as you. I will choose which games I like within Game Pass. I don't know if I would be someone that would, like, my subscription runs out in June of 2022. I did the $1 deal that matched the the gold. Yeah, I had 3 years of gold that matched for $1 back when they did that. My God, what was it? Almost 2.5 years ago. When that runs out, I'm not going to resubscribe right away. Because, like, I'll give you an example, like Halo, right? So yes, if let's say my subscription ran out in November, I would probably buy Halo versus getting it in Game Pass. This is just me. It's a me story. So everybody calm down in the chat. There's a couple of people.
You must have lots of money.
He's so predictable. All right, calm down, dude.
Mooch
have a drink.
Has a lot of money.
I'm just saying, I'm buying one video game, yeah. But I'm saying, like, it's right. It's a game that I like to have in my collection. And that's just something. But, like, if I see a game, like, let's say The Ascent, right? Maybe you wouldn't want to buy The Ascent for $30. Let's say The Ascent came out next July. I don't have Game Pass. I would rather plunk down the $10 for the month, play the game to its entirety, and I'm done. So instead of paying $30 for an indie game or $60 for maybe a game, like, you guys know, I've said this for years now, I'm not a Fable fan. So when Fable comes out, I'd like to play it. I don't have to. I can get Game Pass for a month. Instead of paying $60 to own it, I can pay $10, play the story, right, for the month. And Microsoft's happy. I'm happy. Instead of paying $60, I paid $10. And we all kind of just live our lives in harmony, right? So that's the thing I'm trying to say. So like Luca said, value's in the eye of the beholder. And it's a game-by-game basis. So it depends on what you like to play and all that. I'm just asking the questions because everything's always just one side. Like I said, I don't think I said anything negative about Game Pass at all, but everyone's like, there he goes. There he is. That's the guy I heard about. It's like, take it easy, dude. I didn't say anything. All I said was, these are questions. If you're taken back that much by questions, then you are the other side that's just pro, no matter what it is. And that's fine. But you can't be mad because I'm asking a question. I don't think and that's and Luca answered it. And then she asked a question back. How dare you, Luca?
You know what? And that's true. But you know what? With every question, I like to throw data at it. Okay. And I really should write an article.
I just wish Microsoft would give us some, Titan.
Well, I should write an article about my spiel that I'm going to give you here. Because I've seen so many of these numbers over the course of the past, I don't know, 5 years or so, but I followed a lot of numbers, okay? And in my youth, being, an electronic surveillance measures operator on board a nuclear submarine, trusted with top secret SCI clearance, and information vital to national security on a day-to-day basis. And, I'm currently a 7th grade math teacher. I'm saying this because I'm just saying I'm very good with numbers, okay? And that's that's what I lean back on when people, question me or something, like I've got the fucking rap sheet, but the thing is, and I'm not saying this is 100% because to me, nothing is 100%, but as a rule of thumb, I've come to generally fall around this 10% rule. Okay. And this is my rule of thumb is 10%. If 10% of the player base buys the game, that's pretty normal. Above is better, below is worse, obviously. Now 10% of that 10% get some of the achievements on average. Above is rare, below is normal, right? And it even works on Twitter. If 10% of your followers like or engage, it's good, and etc. There's this rule of thumb with numbers. Like any question, that's why I love math, man. That's why I teach it every day, is because with every question you can answer with goddamn numbers.
Yeah.
Facts speak for themselves.
No, Titan, let me tell you something. There's nobody on this panel I would agree. I can't agree more than what you said. The problem is we don't have any numbers to have that next discussion, which I think is sorely needed.
Yeah. Well, we've got 10%. Well, we've got 10%. I guess we don't have 10% of the sales numbers, do we?
But the thing.
But we got 10% of the achievements. So but we do need the sales numbers. Yes, you're right.
Oh, you're talking about in that specific.
Well, any numbers would be great. You know what I mean? It's a subscription number, sales. Any numbers, because Titan, everything you said holds water. And that's the thing. That's the conversation I'm dying to have, and that's why
I ask you guys to follow that rule. Think about that.
The thing is that's why there's only speculation. That's why there's so much speculation and so much debate, because it's purely based off of what we hear. We get tidbits from the media, tidbits from publishers, right? And then we piece it together and then form an opinion. And don't get me wrong, not saying the opinion on anyone's side is correct. But the thing about it is that with people in the chat, and I encourage it on my show, is keep an open mind and ask a question back. Instead of being like,
Also, do not be absolute. Like Porta Player said, says Microsoft doesn't give numbers about Xbox. Well, that's not absolutely true, because they do sometimes, right? You cannot have an absolutist's attitude towards anything. Like Mooch said, you need to be open-minded. We all do. To better ourselves, we all need to be open-minded about everything.
Here's the thing, though. Titan, at the same time, none of us are investors in these companies. None of us work for these companies. I'm just going to give another angle here. None of us work for them, nor are we invested in them. We enjoy their products, and we talk about them. Obviously, we are invested in one way or another because we have shows about them and whatever else. But at the end of the day, do we really need to know how, the specific numbers of Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo? That's for shareholders and for the developers and the people that are actually in the business. People can fly specifically. I think Mav just said that too. That's actually kind of true. When Drake releases a new album, do we have to know every week how many copies he's selling?
Right.
They tell us
6 months down the road, he'll say my album went platinum. But but people aren't sitting there talking every friggin' week going, well, another 325 sold for Drake's new album. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
So why do we give a shit? See, the thing is, as long as all three companies are healthy and doing extremely well,
Mag, absolutely.
This is all that should. I should
see. What's funny?
Yes.
What's funny in Titan? I'm glad we're having this conversation. But and I'm going to say the name wrong. It's Isildur's Bane. Listen to what he wrote here, and shout out to Bane. He says, "I love how Mooch and all these Twitter warriors, which, by the way, I almost never comment on Twitter, are investors and need numbers. Microsoft just became valued at $2 trillion, right? So there's a couple things about this that's really funny.
Hold on, let me stop. I think I know what you're going to say. So
what I'm going to say is he's already yelling. This is how one-sided. He's yelling at me for the numbers, but Titan was the one that just said how important it is to do your math and know your figures and know your numbers. I didn't say that. I said I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also found it funny that he doesn't care about numbers, but he's very well aware of the $2 trillion company.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, guys. If we can have a conversation, that's what it's all about. That's what's great about podcasting, right?
Yes.
Whether you grew up when me and Noof did and it was all about radio, right? Always wanted to hear who was coming on to have that open discussion, or you invite Luca, Mooch, and you have a great panel and we discuss it.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. So when people are like, Mooch, oh, there he goes again. Like, just listen, because Titan's the one that said numbers, and immediately someone said it was my fault about numbers.
I mean, no one's saying that they don't know what they're doing. That's my thing.
The only time us gamers should worry about numbers is when, I mean, we should want all games to sell relatively well.
Absolutely.
Because the only time I'm worried about numbers is when you hear that obviously they didn't hit the sales target figures that a lot of these big publishers have, especially if you're a AAA. There's a lot of money that goes into the development of these games over the course of 4 or 5 years. There's a lot at stake when a game comes out and literally does not hit the mark. One that comes right off the bat for me, and a Mooch, I think you really enjoy this game, was Days Gone. There's
heartbroken.
Lots of fans out there already crying to see a sequel. I personally would love to see it as well. But you know what? There's a lot of question marks here with that game. There was a lot of games like this. You know, we haven't seen a sequel to Rise, Son of Rome for whatever reason. We haven't seen a sequel to even something like the Order 1886, which I thought was much better than critics and people gave it credit for. There's a lot of games that those are just a few numbers. But Days Gone is one of the more recent ones because I did hear a lot of people in the community say how much they really enjoyed that game and wish there would be a sequel, and we might never see one, largely because I guess the game wasn't touted by the internals at Sony to be the hit that they had wanted. But it's a game that probably deserves one. So that's the only time I worry about the numbers, is when it basically keeps me from getting a sequel to a game that I really enjoyed. I think Outriders probably deserves a sequel. I think large part of the way this game was perceived was due to the rough launch. Perhaps they should have delayed it longer. If anything, Game Pass was a huge boost for the title. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you sell 9 million copies on the PlayStation and 1 million on Xbox. It's all part of the same package. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, at a hockey game or a football game, they don't care if there are 4,000 people in the audience. They don't care if, you know, if 30,000 people are kids and the rest are adults. They don't care as long as they get their money. That's the main thing, right?
You know, it's funny because
is it just me?
You know, because I feel sorry for Mooch because last time he got it here on this time, you know, he takes some heat and in my opinion, some unwanted heat undeserved heat.
Thank you, Titan.
But my thing is, this is my 40 minutes every day of public school is teaching students how to talk and respond to each other. That's how much. You know, like, think about that, guys. Like, the country knows, the government knows. People are forgetting how to respond to each other, and part of that is because of social media, you know, and it's so easy to go off on someone on social media for like the slightest thing, right, that someone disagrees with, you know, because you can't have a full, complete, audible conversation on social media through text, and you know, and sometimes it's hard to figure out sarcasm. There's all kinds of reasons. But like, isn't it crazy that 40 minutes of every day of public school, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy, man. And I'm glad Mooch said it earlier. You know, we got to be open-minded, and we can't just shut people down. We all have to grow.
Yeah, I think when it comes to this stuff, Mooch me and Mooch had a conversation about this, like a year ago, where I was like, why are you always bringing up the same topics on your show? Why are we still talking about this? It's boring. And then you were like, Luca, it's a podcast. It's a talk show. Yeah. We're going to talk about this stuff. It's normal. And I was just like, damn, no, he's actually got a good point, you know? And I actually use that reasoning when it comes to any conversation pieces that I bring up. It's like, you know, we are YouTubers. This is a point of conversation. This is what some people are talking about. This is what some people want to hear. And I totally get that. I think when it comes to having differences of opinions, there is a way to approach the situation and the conversation without insulting anyone. And I don't know if that's happening in the chat because like YouTube will not allow me to be great because it keeps disconnecting. I don't know what is going on. They've been trying to silence me all day. Not gonna happen. But
Yeah, what's that all about anyway?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Free Luca.
I saw you
hashtag.
keep saying that you're like, YouTube's trying to silence me, and I'm like, are they coming after you?
Like
what's going on?
Listen, Twitter was attempting to silence me during my spaces. It shut down. I was like, I will not be silenced. Okay, I will be heard. But yeah, I don't know what's happening in the chat in that regard. But it's like, you know, I know Mooch gets a lot of heat, but there is always a way to discuss a difference of opinion without it going anywhere. Not that I'm saying that's
well, the thing is, you know, and it's funny because I mean, Luca did she brought the point up, and she's right. We had this conversation. I mean, it's not. It's just that it's funny because people say don't talk about Game Pass on Crossfire, but then we were on this show in the first 30 minutes before I even spoke. Was everybody went around the table talked about Game? I just it's like everybody can talk about it except for Mooch. It's like, okay, so
topic list banned,
and I bring on at least 2 or 3 from both sides of the community always, and we have. I like the discussion pieces we have, and I got news for you. Every single time we wrap up on Crossfire, we have an outstanding post show where we all kind of laugh in the background and be like, even people that were kind of going at it. And they're having a good time. That's what it's all about. And I think that's my job as the host to make sure that that's what it stays, you know, stay on topic. And that's the thing. So listen, I'm a New York Mets fan. All right. They're constantly talking about DeGrom and his lat that's swollen and he's not going to pitch. They're talking about it for 2 months, but it's a talk show about baseball. What do you want him to say?
Unfortunately,
right? I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
in the podcast game, it's largely, like I said, it's largely we're all part of the same package, and we do this again for the love of our passion, our hobby, and entertainment. But I classify it as we got 3 types of thinkers in the community, right? You got your critical thinkers, you got your objectional thinkers, and then you got people who don't think at all. And the people who don't think at all are generally largely fanboys, and they don't hear anything. Like, it doesn't matter what side, like on my podcast, I mean, a lot of people see me and probably this whole panel as pro Xbox, right? And that might be true. I have no bones about saying being Xbox first. But how many podcasts have I been on where I've said nothing but positive, fantastic stuff about PlayStation and still get hate afterwards because they don't want to hear it from me because they've got me locked in it as a certain way and they don't hear it. It's like, what did Noob just say? Nah, he couldn't have been positive. He just gave that game a 9 out of 10. Nah, I'm pretty sure I heard it was a 6. Had to be a 6 because he can't like PlayStation, can he? He can't own one and actually like it, can he? Is he that kind of a guy? Can he actually do that? I should do that as what do you call it? Safe House Sam. Yeah, but you know, we all get that kind of crap where people just don't listen. They're too busy building up this hate or this fucking narrative focus in their mind that they don't hear anything. They just hear the side they want to hear, and then you just run with it, and then automatically you're left or you're right, you know, you're blue or you're purple, whatever. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'll catch up with a super chat real quick. DJ Berto Dawes jumps in with $5. What was that sign-up bonus like for that MOS Titan? Come on, throw some numbers at me. All right. And let's kind of kill this topic here real quick. Any final thoughts? And we're going to bring in Ask Arnold. We're running over a little bit over time here, and we got some people on board. So, yeah, any final thoughts? Anybody? Or should we just kind of
8,000, but it came with an extra year of service. They didn't tell me that. It was fine print. To DJ Berto Dawes. $8,000.
There you go. We got Iceman coming in hot with $4.99 in the super chat. Mooch, let's get Mets, or let's go Mets. Too bad season's over for us. Sports. LOL.
Sports. Yeah, don't talk about sports. I tell you talk about sports on a gaming podcast. You can watch that number drop on the watching.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The way I'm hovering over the Leave studio,
they freak out about it.
Like, I'll see you later.
I always fondly remember talking about sports with you before Mooch on some of the earlier podcasts, and especially when Lady Foxfire would be in the chat and she'd be like, Sports.
Oh. Sports again?
I can hear her saying that right now, like, sports?
Yes.
Football,
like that unsupportive wife, the minute you turn on your console, they're like, gaming again? And they're like, I just turned it on. Yeah.
Yes. They just hear that. They just hear those startup screens and they're like, gaming again?
That's why I married a gamer.
Anyways, time for Ask Arnold. Let's get to that
right.
point. And I'm only going to do a couple of questions tonight so we can move this right along. So anybody in the panel and the chat, so go for it and make sure the good ones. Let's have at them.
Okay, yeah, Arnold, I got one for you. Now that you no longer have that old maid and you're on the hunt for new ones, whenever you see a hot one, do you ever get an ascent in your pants?
Oh, I can smell the ascent in the air. It's all over the place. I want the hot ones. Bring them on. I want to do them all the time. So get them out there. I'm always on the look. You know, I heard Ashen, Luca. I heard you're a very little hottie. You want to come over here, spend the night with the real man? Come on, let's do it. Come on over here. Just make sure that you take the public transit. I heard that your driving is terrible.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Arnie, give me your best pickup line on Luca right now.
No, young Luca. I heard that you're very short, but I can promise you this. Then when you hit the bedroom, it's going to be in for a long night.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Luca's in. All right. Was it the Luca? Was it the accent that got you?
No, I just I know what Noof is like, so.
She said you don't even need the accent, man.
All right. Well, at least it wasn't Safe House Sam telling her that.
Yeah,
that
right.
Kind of creepy. All right. Anybody else?
Oh, man.
Anybody else? Any further questions? Luca, Mooch, anybody?
Last one. Arnie, what's your plan for Game Pass expansion from Cybergunter 81?
I am going to rule the world. And once I get there, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick Phil Spencer out of there. I'm going to take over on Microsoft and the Xbox platform, and I'm going to bring it to the next level. I promise you this. We're going to have amazing games. Now, about 90% of them are going to be about me, and perhaps there's even going to be a special donkey game in there. Because you know what? I want to have a donkey game that says Donkey Congo. That's going to be my game. It's going to be called Donkey Congo Kick Some Ass. You get it? You get it? Come on, who is it? Yes.
Do you get it?
All right, I got one from Jesse Darby. He's asking, Arnold, why did you stop taking steroids?
Because when I told you before, that last bitch that I gave the steroids to, she injected them all in the pussy.
I would pay money to see Luca's face right now.
Stop while you're on top. That was great.
There we go. That's we're done.
Up my water.
Arnold's back next week, guys. There you go.
That's fantastic.
Oh, shit. All right, let's move on to another topic. This one can be hotly debated or contested. Call of Duty, as you probably already know, is coming out soon, called Vanguard. It looks like they're going back in time once again to those weapons that don't have multiple clips in them, or at least most. How do you guys feel about it? Do you honestly think that, well, I know it's going to be a hit regardless, but do you think that potentially this Call of Duty is going to come out with less fanfare, perhaps might be the worst selling Call of Duty since Infinite Warfare a few years back? How do you guys feel about that? Anybody have any remote excitement about it? Do you think the whole Warzone thing has really left a bad taste in people's mouths? Who wants to take the floor?
All right.
Well,
let me just get this.
I know you're a Call of Duty guy.
Let me just get this raw because I don't got much to say. So the info I dropped, a week or two ago, it finally dropped to the public. They talked even more about this. I shouldn't say talked more about this. I should say they reiterated that, quote unquote, we're going to blow up the COD community in a good way. And they still fucking haven't given any details about that. I mean, nothing about this game screams like, oh my fucking God, we gotta get back in. I gotta re-download COD right now. That fucking 100 fucking gigabyte game, over 100 fucking gigs, and fucking get on this shit because it's still, guess what? It's still fucking hacked out of its mind. It's fucking unsavable. They need to fucking start from the fucking ground up, man. Fucking blow that shit up. Fucking introduce some, destructible environments to the fucking Modern Warfare, the Warzone game itself. Just fucking blow that shit to the fucking bottom. Start up at the fucking foundation. Build that shit with a good foundation. Go ahead, Sam.
I know the same as Sammy, man. Look, I gotta tell you this right now, brother. You keep on yelling. I love it when you get all hot and feisty because your lips start smacking and I can hear that spit. And you know what that makes me think about? It makes me think about my wife's juicy vagina. Yeah. So you keep on doing it because I'm over here, baby, and I'm just popping the woody. Now, Papa Woody in the chat. What we gonna do is maybe say my Sam is in the house. See you later, people.
Oh my God, I'm scared that guy's married.
All right, let me jump in here. Listen, now that Safe House Sam has literally destroyed my mind about his wife's vagina.
The only thing he was missing was that keyword, Mag. What was it? Felching?
Come on, man. I told you not to bring that shit up on the show. It literally makes me I actually get saliva built up in my mouth like I'm going to throw up. You know that feeling?
You must have had a bad Felch experience.
No, I've never had one. It's the thought of it. Mooch, don't look it up. Please don't look it up. Listen,
I won't.
Yeah, thank you. Just do yourself a fucking favor. Anyway, it's the thought of it. Anyways, Call of Duty, not felching, Christ's sake. Call of Duty, listen, if you want to talk about tone deaf in terms of what they're doing. Now, we're going to ignore the fact that the conjecture is that there's been a lot of development hell going on with this game, that they had to bring on other teams on to help them out because it was apparently it wasn't coming together. Okay. And, it sounded like they were kind of going down the road of the Black Ops 4. Remember that fiasco?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like the online only. They had no story. It was shit. Nobody liked it, but apparently still did well. But Infinite Warfare still holds the crown, I think, for worst selling. But anyways, the point is, talk about tone deaf. Like a couple of years ago, you released Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was a resounding success. And right off the heels of Modern Warfare, what do you release? You release Warzone, another resounding success. What cheaters or not, whatever, the engagement in that game is unbelievable.
Well, not anymore.
Well, okay.
Look, I fucking uninstalled it.
Come on. Okay, just because you uninstalled it, Titan, the whole fucking world uninstalled it.
How many other people uninstalled it, though? I'm like one of the most hardcore Call of Duty fans there is.
There's still tens of millions out there playing this.
And they're like, you guys, come on, man.
I'm just telling you. But anyway, the thing is, what I'm getting at here is
Mooch, uninstall it right now.
You can see where the trend. You could see where the trend was going. All right, they did the Cold War thing. I really enjoyed Cold War, actually. I put a lot of time in the zombies. I love that. The story was great. The whole 80s,
it was good.
I thought the 70s and 80s like espionage thing with the Reagan stuff. That's really interesting to me because I grew up in that era. I mean, I was a kid, but I grew up in it and I was aware of what was going on. Pretty wild stuff. So that was great. And then they're like, by the way, fuck you, we're going back to World War II. And then everybody's like going, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Are you guys kidding? You just did that 4 years ago. And then the thing is, now you're going back to it. And I'm like, guys, Battlefield went through Battlefield 1, then Battlefield 5. Okay, World War I, then World War II, then Call of Duty released World War II. Now you're going back to World War II, but then people are saying, oh, it just might be an alternative World War II where the Nazis win or the war just kept going into like the 50s or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's called Wolfenstein. They've released 3 of them already. Okay, and there's another one on the way. We don't need another Wolfenstein. How tone deaf are you people? Like, make a modern, I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to be too predictable by saying, let's make a Modern Warfare 2, but do something that is, people have been clamoring.
Here's the thing,
for something
Mag,
that's more in this time.
The only reason I speak to this is, I mean, I've always liked Call of Duty. And the same thing, like me and Luca had a conversation, got a couple, I don't know how many podcasts back. We were talking about this. It was the conversation was about Destiny. Right. And Luca was like, Mooch, you have to understand, I'm going to play Destiny where my friends are. And so, like, that's a game that, like, from early on in the 360 era right till today, right? Mm-hmm. My friends my close friends, they still play that game. Do they play it religiously like we did back then? No. Yeah. But that's a game that they still pick up every year. Why? I don't know. But they do. Now, to answer you, right, I agree with Titan. I agree with Mag in the case that I do believe that whenever you go back to World War, I think the last...
you don't.
Well,
you still have that shit.
I do.
You still have that shit on your console.
I do. I love it. I really do love Warzone. I love Warzone. But hear me out real quick.
I love it too.
The last time World War II was successful was World at War.
Yes.
I think you guys would maybe agree with me on that one.
Yeah. That would
After that, you're right. But Meg, I know you've been gaming long enough to remember this. So your story resonates with me because when they took that huge, long hiatus, between the World War II franchise, and we were getting basically like, it was going from Black Ops to, Modern Warfare and then Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and it just kept going and going and going. Like people were getting really, really sick. Like it's already Call of Duty's already what Titan just said. It's Call of Duty, right? Every year. Right. So I'm with you. This is the least favorite, even for me, in the genre of Call of Duty is when they go back to World War II. When Battlefield went to World War I, I was like, I didn't even buy. I was like, I'm not even in this. Yeah. I don't even care. I mean, at that point, they were throwing like hot wax at each other.
Yeah, listen, pretty much.
Right. So my point being is, I'm like, this is
Mooch is
right.
Like,
exactly.
How am I supposed to spray and pray?
Titan, fire the cannon. And I'm like, what?
I know you shoot the gun. It takes like 8 minutes to reload.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that this here is definitely going to be lower than we saw as far as results in sales, or even probably like player base when it comes to things like versus like Cold War or Modern Warfare. Right. But and I say this, and I hope you guys understand what I mean. It is one of those things where it needs that rotation. It needs something else. We know World War I's not going to work. Okay, we just did the 70s, 80s. We've done the Vietnam thing, right? Yeah. So now we've done the Modern Warfare thing, and now it's like, okay, they gotta go back. I agree with you guys. I have no argument that I think that the idea that they're going to World War II is definitely gonna be a step back in progress. Let's hope the story they make for the campaign is as encouraging as the Modern Warfare one, or as much as even the Cold War one, because I also love that 80s story. I thought that was great, Mag. Yeah. So let's hope they pick a part of time that's interesting that people want to play through. I don't know what they're going to do yet. My thing, coming from the Warzone world, I thought it was, intriguing how they did the flashback and they went from Modern Warfare and Warzone to 1984, right, in the flashback, and they changed subtle things. Now, how are they is this going to look like, what is it? I'm trying to think. Michael J. Fox when he went back to 1955.
Right.
What are they going to make? Is the Warzone now going to look like whatever that is, Pleasant Valley? Like, is that what it's going to look like?
So I don't know what they're going to do there. Have the different mall name or whatever.
Right.
Here, I got a great idea for you. You know where I think Call of Duty should go next, where they should have done? Because I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Warzone just recently added the old action heroes. They had Sylvester Stallone as Rambo. The next Call of Duty game, obviously after this one, and listen to me, Activision, because you might be onto an actual huger thing, is what you should do is Call of Duty, the Action Hero Edition. And basically what it is you take all the old action heroes from various genres and various things, and that's the move, and that's the game you make, because instead of just retreading the same crap, you bring in Arnold from Commando and Stallone from Rambo and all these old action movies, you know what I mean? Like from back in the day, and then you assemble them in with some of those classic weapons and classic outfits, and just kind of make so it's sort of modern, but sort of a little bit old, but it's not like going way back. We're not talking John Wayne now.
I like that. I like that for the
war. Great idea.
That would be good for
Warzone. For the Warzone.
Yeah, for Warzone. On the same page there. Yeah.
I'm right there with that, because I liked how they did the Bruce Willis thing and they did the Rambo thing. I thought that was cool. Is it something I bought into? No. I mean, I'm not gonna pay $24 for that, but people will. And they did. But I mean, I think that is a great idea. As far as the World War II campaign itself, I mean, again, I'll buy it, because I mean, we all say this. And Titan, if you don't do it, I tip my cap to you, because like I'm proud of you for doing it, but everyone every year says they're not going to buy it, and then it still sells like gangbusters. Right?
Noof is like one of the few that actually sticks to that saying. Yes. I'm not saying I won't buy it, because, but you know what? I will give whoever can answer this fucking question the Common Sense Award tonight. Big fucking prize here, everybody. If you could tell me, what the fuck would it is, Sledgehammer or Raven? I can never fucking remember which shitty
Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer. Mm-hmm. They're both the same to me, anyways. If you could fucking tell me what the fuck their quote is, what are they talking about When they this
reveals
quote has been
tomorrow-
made multiple times. We're gonna blow up the COD community in a good way. If you could tell me what the fuck they're talking about with that, I will
find
give
out
you
Thursday, Titan. Like
I want it now.
Oh, well, Jesus Christ! You know,
Give
there's
me
one
now.
thing before Luca gets in on this. There's one thing I was going to say. Never mind the story. Never mind the game itself. Look at the landscape come October, November, and this is where Call of Duty may struggle because of that World War II. Because some people are like, I'm kind of on the fence with the World War II thing or whatever. And now look what you got it going up against. You got it going up against a near future Battlefield. You've got it going up against another first-person shooter at some point, Halo. You've got it going up against a 4-player first-person shooter with modern weapons, Back for Blood with zombies. And I played that beta, and it was awesome. Shout out to Cerebral Paul for shooting me in the back of the head, by the way, and while we were gaming. And the thing is, it was wonderful. So anyways, look at those 3 games alone. So you've got Back for Blood, you've got Halo, you've got Battlefield, all coming out within, presumably with Halo in the mix, within a month. And then somewhere plunked in the middle is going to be Call of Duty. So there's a lot to digest there, right? So they didn't really help themselves. Now, it's not really their fault. It's not like they knew, when they started developing the game that all these other games are going to drop that same thing. But they should have had an idea. So you know that you're going to have to hit hard. Like a Modern Warfare in there would have decimated all of those games, right? But now with the World War II, I give it a 50-50 when you're going up against those big guns.
Mag, my problem with that is
especially that Halo's free to play on top of it all. Sorry, go ahead.
That's true. My problem with that is Battlefield always leaves the fucking door open, man.
Like, I know they always fuck that. They always fuck it up last minute. They'll say something stupid.
Well, they always impress with the visuals, and that's what they ride on. That's what they ride on pretty much the whole way through. And the destructible environments, that's all great. I fucking love Battlefield about that. But what are the negatives about Battlefield on this one? There are some negatives out there.
Let's bring in Luca. She's been quiet. Let's get her take on this. But for first, let's catch up with our good buddy Enrique from the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. What's going on, brother? Hey, panel. Luca, Mooch. Who's yelling?
What's up, Brap?
What's up, Enrique?
What's going on, brother? Man. Thanks. Chase Jones. What's going on, my brother? How are you? Jesse Darby, Crispy Bomb, Stephanie Kingston, RG Viper X. What's happening, people? Good to see you here. Great chat tonight. My God, it's been crazy in here. Very, very interactive. Luca, go ahead and give us your take on Call of Duty. I don't even think. What was the last time
I don't play.
I never see you playing them.
I don't play Call of Duty. I have been playing Modern Warfare with Dealer, but that's because he was like, "Hey, go ahead and download so we can play together." And I'm like, okay. And so I'm just, kind of following behind him and getting watched. So, but I can admit that it's a quality game, at least in terms of the gameplay. I don't know how Call of Duty is going to be this year. I'm curious to see that myself. I know that people think that some external factors may contribute to the game not doing as well, but I think if anything, it'll just be because people are not interested in whatever it is that they come out with. Depending, so.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That external factor that you were talking about there, I said it on another show. I can't remember what show I was on. We were talking about it. And the thing is, we know about that situation. The gaming media knows about that situation. The chat knows about it. But I would still say that 90% of COD players out there who aren't in this, this hardcore circle that we're in, have no idea what was going on at Activision Blizzard. So anybody like, oh, we're boycotting this and that, whatever, it ain't going to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, a lot of them have no clue what's going on. They just know that a new Call of Duty just showed up on the shelf at Walmart. They're going to pick it up, throw it in the basket next to the eggs, and they're going to leave. Right. And so that's, or just download it. So that's not going to be a factor. What will be a factor, like I was saying, is that you're going up against 3 other first person shooters at the same time and the setting. That's my only thing. But I mean, it still could be the gangbuster of the year, like it usually is, NPD champion, right? I don't know.
Right.
Who the hell knows? I guess we'll have to wait till Thursday, Titan. I want it now. now.
My question is too is like when they're going to make these games, do they not do any sort of public research to find out what the fuck their fans actually like? Who are they listening to? Because obviously the people in this panel and the people in the chat, at least 95% of us that are in here tonight. I know we don't speak for the entire community, as you guys have pointed out earlier. Obviously, we're a very small portion of it, and obviously, like Titan said, just because he doesn't play Warzone anymore hasn't stopped the other 5 million people that are probably playing it daily. But it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of Call of Duty fans in here. I'm one of them. I know Titan is. I think most of us like the game theoretically. I just didn't like what they started doing with the franchise. I'm okay with the Warzone part. Like I've always said that it's not the Warzone that bothers me. I don't like how they implemented it into the other part of the game. Like I said, where you couldn't delete it, you had to have it on your hard drive. All of that BS, not to mention the other types of BS that they've been doing as well. And I just think like going back to, we've had enough of that era. I know for a while we cried and wanted, it would be good to have it. I know when Call of Duty World War II came out a few years ago, it had a great campaign and it was received with moderate success. It kind of sort of put Call of Duty back up there a little bit, but it's kind of like, okay, well now you've done it again. You had that little fantastic little campaign. The multiplayer wasn't all that bad, but time to move on. You know what I mean? So, and then they just keep going back to the well. I don't know if that's how it's going to be. New one, old one, new one, old one. I don't know, but either which way, I am definitely out on it, man. Yeah, somebody been in the chat about Sandstorm Insurgency. That's one that I'm excited about. Also, Crossfire X, is it? That I'm actually interested in as well. Emmanuel A1 is in the chat. He draws $5. Good to see a lady back on the show tonight. I still miss Eve on the show. I had a good show, guys. Thank you so much. We do miss Primal Eve as well and wish she would come back. I've sent her numerous invites, but so far it's been all a negative. So, yeah, very packed panel. Fast and furious tonight, let me tell you. Fun speculation. The last one was a waste of $70, unfortunately. Like I said, everybody has their opinion on it. And some people think it's worth every penny, and some people don't. Lots of people say that about Destiny. We can tell you, Luca loves Destiny and has played the living shit out of it. I like to play with you guys sometime on Destiny because I haven't played it in so long. I'm totally lost. I don't even know where the hell I'm going in that game anymore. Every time I turn it on, it's manifested into something totally different. I'm like, what the hell is
our
this?
good friend Noof has been claiming he's going to play this game with me for about 2 years. I don't know where he's been. I don't know what's going on with that. But
he was kidnapped by Safe House Sam, apparently. I will play, Luca. Send me an invite. I'll play. I'm not very high level though. You're probably you'll have to drag me through.
We'll have to wait for the next season because I'm not doing anything but end game content right now. So
now that I have Game Pass, I guess I have all the DLC content accessible, which I didn't have before.
Yes.
Yay! Bonus. Hey, Royal Boyle's in the chat. What's up, Royal?
Hey, Royal
What's
Boyle.
good,
What's up,
brother?
buddy?
Again, our thoughts go out to your Royal Boyle. No, it's hard, man, losing your family member, your dad. And so we've been thinking about you ever since. So I'll just hang in there, bro. But anyway, it's good to see you back in the chats. He says, what is good, my G80 family? Good to be here. Shout out to my Scumcast Crossfire fam as well. Luca, Mooch. Here's to a great show. Well, it's been a fantastic one so far.
Thank you, Royal. Appreciate that.
Good stuff. All right. Any further thoughts on Call of Duty?
Nope.
New? Okay. Well, we got one more topic, I'd say, and this will probably take us until we get to pretty much Tony Baloney. This one's just about Game of the Year. A little bit of a lighter one this time. So far, what you played, a couple more months left to 2021. It's been a tumultuous year, if that's even a word. We saw so many game delays. We saw a lot of games come out with a lot of fanfare, but obviously fell a little bit short. There's been some surprises. There's been some stuff that's, like I said, missed the mark. Some stuff that's been fantastic. I want to hear so far, and Titan brought this one up. Where do you sit so far, and what's been your favorite game thus far this year? I can easily tell you mine, but I'll go after you guys have said your piece. And let's start with Mag. How about you, Mag? What game has impressed you so far this year? What's been the number one? And what's been one that you've also been very disappointed with at this point?
Ooh, that's a bit of a curve. The thing is because I'm obviously getting much older, I tend to not play games that are going to disappoint me, or I don't purchase games that are going to disappoint me because I'm just not going to waste my time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, gone to the days of like, I'm going to sit there for like 3 months playing Ghosts and Goblins and I hate it because it was the only game I had, and I had tons of time on my hands. Now, these days, I'm just like, no, I'm going to pick things that I enjoy to play. So for anything disappointing, nothing really comes to mind. However, in terms of games of the year, I'll give you a quick list here. And I know what Mooch's is, by the way. And but I gotta say, Resident Evil Village, that like Resident Evil is my thing. And ever since 7, when they went to that first person view, that really changed everything for me. Where it for me, it elevated Resident Evil to a whole other, well, no pun intended, level. But I love that game. Another one, It Takes Two, which I still think It Takes Two is going to win Game of the Year. That's just my call. Another one that was fantastic. I did enjoy The Ascent, although it was a bit of a grind, but I won't put it up as one of my favorites. The other one that was one of my favorites and an absolutely stunning game has got to be Little Nightmares 2. If you haven't played Little Nightmares 2, do yourself a damn favor and play that game. It is not on Game Pass. It is not just buy the damn game. It's like $25, whatever the hell it is. Okay. It is a remarkable piece of art. And let me tell you something. Not one word is uttered throughout that entire game, but I got to tell you, it will haunt you for days. And no, Noof, it doesn't have the Banjo-Kazooie shit. I'm just saying, it doesn't have, it's not the, it doesn't have any of that. There's no talking at all. It's just music and sound effects. And my God, the story it tells is so haunting. It'll stick with you for days, weeks, kind of like how Last of Us 2 did to me. Like
that's sometimes how we describe it when our wife actually stays quiet, right?
Yeah, no kidding, right? But yeah, I gotta say, as it stands right now, so far, I gotta say Resident Evil Village and I gotta say Little Nightmares 2. But you know what? Honorable mention to a game that did not come out this year, but I finally sat down and played it on my PlayStation 5. Has got and I platinumed it in one, not in one sitting, but I didn't play anything else because I was so obsessed. Was shout out to Days Gone. My God, I absolutely adored that game where I didn't touch any other game until I got the platinum on that. And I was heartbroken to her that there was no mention of a sequel. And like I said, even though it wasn't a game of the year, I played it this year for the first time and finally got through it. And I got to say that was a remarkable game, but that's just an honorable mention. So far, Little Nightmares 2, Resident Evil Village. Anyways, I got to sign off for a bit. You know why.
Yes.
Oh, and It Takes Two. Sorry, that was the other one. It Takes Two. Yeah.
Okay, let's head over to the man who proposed the article. That is Titan Drago. Where are you at on your top game contender and something that perhaps let you down a little bit this year?
All right, first off, I got to start off with Papa Woody, you mug. You guys are like it. You're lucky I like you. Otherwise, I choke you all out when it comes to the Smite hate. All right. I'm going to request to the gaming gods that if you don't play at least 5 hours of Smite, you don't get your gamer's card. Okay. I'm just kidding, but I got to mess with you guys back in some way, after the week after week after week hating on my beloved game. Just mess with. But in the recent weeks, I've given some harsh words for people jumping on the gun, right? When they call out those hype words, game of the year, I can't stand it when people hype every fucking game and throw that fucking game of the year out like 30 fucking games can win it every year. I hate that shit. But anyways, I recently downloaded this game and I cannot stop playing it. And it is literally my game of the year. Orcs Must Die 3. I don't know if any of you have played it. Look at the review. It got amazing reviews. I was like, and I wasn't going to get it because I was like, Orcs Must Die 3. I think I played the first one back on like the 360 or something. And
it's like a tower defense game.
Exactly. A tower defense game. And I forgot. It's been so long since I played it. I forgot it was a tower defense game. And Mooch, I was reading the reviews and they were all saying it's a great tower defense game. And I'm like, this is a tower defense game. But when I look at all the fucking pictures, it's first person and there's a fucking bunch of fucking orcs running at you. Yeah. But it is. Yeah. It is a tower defense game. It's a first-person tower defense game, and it is fucking amazing. I can't tell you how many times I fucking laughed my ass off out loud at the reaction of these fucking orcs, man, to these different traps. The sheer amount of traps that are in this game is fucking amazing. This is I give it like a 9.5 out of 10. This game is fucking amazing. Orcs Must Die 3. If you don't got it, get it. Especially if you love tower defense games. If you don't love tower defense games, probably not for you. But if you do, This is a absolute must buy, hands down. It has the Titan seal of approval, and also Mag, my runner up, is also It Takes Two.
Nice. Disappointing game.
I don't really have a disappointing game. I mean, Smite hasn't disappointed. I mean, am I right? Am I right?
No, apparently not. Every week Smite gets brought up. It's like a friggin' tester at a Viagra factory. It's bound to pop up. All right.
Right.
Now let's find out what Luca thinks. I'm really curious to find out what she's really like this year, what she would put in that GOTY category, and perhaps one that's let her down just a little bit.
Yeah, my game of the year this year was Returnal. I wasn't expecting to like the game as much as I did. It was very challenging, but rewarding at the end of the day. There was a point, it was Biome 3, for those who played, they understand, where I was ready to quit gaming for like good. I was like, I was calling slow-mo. I was like, listen, dude, I just don't think I'm a gamer. I can't do this. But after that phone call, I took a day off, came back, and was able to beat everything pretty quickly after that. So the game's beautiful. The narrative is very confusing. Celine is clearly losing her mind, which it's interesting to go through the game and like listen to some of those audio logs and hear what she's been saying, and like, she's losing it. And the interpretations for the story, they're also different, and the game's really niche. I don't see a lot of videos on it, and I know the completion rate was only like 28%, and it only sold 500,000 or something like that. I don't know the numbers for sure. So I know that like not a lot of people bought it, not a lot of people beat it.
Right.
It's definitely it's not even a skill check. Like, the game's not hard. It's just like you don't get to keep anything really.
Right.
So one mistake and it's over. A run is just completely done.
Right.
So you have to do a lot of prep beforehand. Like, what I was doing is chilling in biomes 1 and 2, getting my health up, getting the astronaut so I can come back to life, finding the dude that you climb in and you come back out at the same point, like you can get another life with him. I was doing a lot of extra stuff to get my health bar up so I could survive the boss fights. And once I realized that that's how you're supposed to play the game, I'm like, oh, bet. And I was able to do that for biome 4, 5, and 6, and I beat biome 1 in like I after I beat 3, it lets you keep going. So I kept going until I died. And then the next day I beat biome 4 in one go. And then biome 5, I think that was also one go. And biome 6, it took me some extra time to gather the resources I needed. And I got most of the way through it. I got to the boss fight. Then I died to some nonsense. Came back through the next day, like, all right, cool. And I was able to beat it. And just overall a really fun experience. We all have different definitions of fun, I guess. But I, looking back, I will say that I don't regret playing that game despite the challenges that it presented. I'm happy I beat it, and it is currently my game of the year because there's nothing else that's interested me so far. So I don't have a disappointing game either because I haven't played anything else. I'm not interested in anything else right now.
Fair enough.
Oh, actually, I just lied. Outriders. Outriders. There we go.
Okay. There you go. Outriders. Great picks. I'm curious now to figure out where Mooch stands on his at least current GOTY pick of the year.
Well, it's the reason me and Luca are one and the same. We basically have to say Returnal is definitely my game of the year so far. But here we are. It is early, right? I mean, there's still the fall is the majority of the games coming out. So it's an early call. Doesn't mean I'll stick with it until December, but I'm not going to re-emphasize everything that Luca just did, but I will say this much. There's something about, there's the addictive roguelite gameplay that's in Returnal, and it's not for everybody. It's definitely not. It's not. I never once really tried to say to anybody, a lot of people would write me on PlayStation, like, Mooch, what do you think? Is it as difficult as people say? It's interesting because there's a level of difficulty to it, and I platinumed the game. I played it for well over 100 hours. And I think if you're, like Mag always talks about it. I hear Titan. I know Noof. I've talked to you about this. like if you think back to our youth and the way that we played video games, right? Yeah. With games like whether it be the NES, SNES, Genesis, doesn't matter. The fact that you had typically like 3 lives, right? And you had to get through a game. That's how I grew up. And I find that as a challenge. And nowadays, take, for example, Mag made a great point. I also did love Resident Evil as well. That would probably be my runner-up. You know, you die in Resident Evil, what happens? You just start again. I died. I start again. And you start right where you left off. Like literally the footprint that you just died in, you resurrect right there, right? And that's just the way games are now. And that's fine. There's still levels of difficulty. I'm not saying those are not difficult games. But if you're persistent, not even persistent enough, if you're just persistent, you will beat the game. Yeah. But like Lucas said, the thing about, you know, this game is you do keep certain things. There's a few attributes that you get to keep as you go through the different biomes that, you know, it helps you explore more. It also makes it so that if you, let's just use as an example, you get to biome 4, you've collected 2 or 3 of the like integral, like being able to go through extended amounts of heat for a long time. You also get like a pulley, you know what I mean? Or you get a, what is it there? A grapple. My point being is those are things you get to keep as you go through your run. So Luke is right. You lose everything, but you keep those few perks. And those few perks makes the run to get back to where you died a little bit. A lot of people were like, it makes it a lot easier. It does once you get over the 100-hour mark and you know every avenue. The other thing is just like I said, whether you played Castlevania when we were kids or you played anything, you picked your whatever, even Super Mario Bros. When you watch the pros on Twitch and they do like the speed runs on Super Mario Brothers, they know exactly where to jump, they know exactly where to land, and know exactly where to double jump, and it looks flawless and seamless. And when you play this game, you learn the patterns. It's about learning the game. It's a lot like Souls in a sense. And what I mean by that is this: people go, well, Mooch, there's nothing like Returnal like Souls. No, nothing to like the naked eye. But Luca will tell you, when you become invested in Souls, it's a process. It's a step. It's learning the enemy movement. And then after you beat that boss, you can beat that boss a lot easier the second time. So it's learning those things. And I find that to be the challenge, whether it be a Souls-like game or a roguelike game like this. Again, very different, but the challenge is unique. And I love that. I love that. We don't get that very often in gaming. So Returnal for me was just an absolute masterpiece. I loved it. It brought me back to my youth. It was something that for me personally was just a ton to play over and over and over again. Like the way Mag was talking about one of his favorite games, like I could not put the controller down for Returnal. Like I was playing 6-hour stretches, like literally getting up, maybe making a quick sandwich, putting it on pause, and then running back and playing it, leaving the game on overnight on whatever it is there, night mode or whatever it's called there. Rest mode, and I just left it on that, and I was like, I am not losing this progression. I would have like my health bar to maximum 200%. I had everything, integrity, everything all the way up, and I had the weapon I wanted, and I was level 30. I'm like, I'm going in to beat this boss. Yeah, it's that much fun, and like it's something where it's the game, and you're also trying. It's competition against yourself to do better each time. So I really like that. I would say that like. The runner-up is definitely got to be, Resident Evil. Like, I'm a Resident Evil junkie. I love Resident Evil to death. Yeah. Maybe not as much as Iceman in the chat. He's a big-time Resident Evil fan. I don't know if I can keep up with him. But I will say that was outstanding. And, you know, even though I had my fun with it, I did. And I didn't run into the game-breaking bugs. I did have crashes. I didn't lose my loot. But I guess the only game I can really say that I was disappointed in would be Outriders. To a certain extent. And if I have a third place, Mag gave like 8 games. Mag listed every game that came out this year. I'm going to go ahead and say my third. You did, Mag. You listed everything. I think it was 3 of them.
I had 3 of them.
Yeah. You listed my game that's coming out next month. I think that I would say my third game was The Ascent. Like I'm not. I guess Mag, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You've beat The Ascent.
Yes.
What level were you upon completion on final boss?
30 something. I can't remember offhand.
Like mid 30s?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'm
33, something like that.
I'm level 20, I believe, right now. So I've got a little bit more to go.
Yeah,
then. Okay,
you got more to go. But let me tell you something. That I did the whole game on solo, by the way.
I'm doing solo too.
Yeah, and it is a bitch. to get to the end.
I saw some people on Twitter posting like 30 seconds worth of like near the end, and I'm like, holy shit.
No, it's hard, man. But the thing is, you really, really, really gotta like you really gotta plan your loadout. Like the perks and stuff like that. Like you can fire out those little like turrets and things like that. You got to pick the right ones for however your style of play, all that kind of stuff. But man, is it ever tough. That took just to get the final boss took me like 2 or 3 days.
Oh God! Well,
yeah, but other than that, I mean, not 2 or 3 days, like 8 hours a day. I'm just
no. I know what you mean. Yeah, 2 or 3 days worth of sitting, playing, enjoying a game.
Yeah. But
understood.
Eventually, and then I got my 1,000 minus the fact that the developer
that really. Now, did they fix that,
pop.
Meg, or you're still unaware?
No, they said that the achievement will eventually pop when the fix comes in. All you have to do is like just load up the game, and then it'll pop.
Okay,
because they saw it. I actually took a picture and sent it to them.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. I'm glad you kept on it like that. I mean, you earned it. It's definitely worthy of getting a response. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm the last. Go ahead, Luca.
Are we almost up? Because I do have to go. It's getting late for me.
Yeah, I'm going to do my thing, and then Tony Baloney's coming out. So real quick for me, my game of the year so far, boy, and it's been a tough one. And the only reason I'm going to say so far, It Takes Two. Runner up though would definitely be Ratchet and Clank. Now I almost say Ratchet and Clank, but the thing is, I didn't get to finish Ratchet and Clank. For a few reasons. I don't have a PS5 anymore. Yeah. So, but anyway, new phenomenon. New phenomenon.
Yeah. So
strikes again.
A quick little caveat for all of you that made, I don't know if you guys know Noof all the way back to 2014, 2015 era. Titan made a great point earlier in the show where he said when Noof says he's not buying a game, he does not. Titan couldn't have been more correct. However, Noof will not buy a game when he doesn't want it, but when he doesn't want a system or wants a system, he'll sell that son of a bitch 4 times over, and then buy it back.
Yes.
That's Noofonomics. That's great, Noof. We have to do a show on that again. Please go ahead.
But yeah, I know, like Ratchet and Clank is phenomenal. I ripped apart. Love the new character, the graphics, the play control. But I'm going to give it just to It Takes Two simply because, obviously a smaller studio with less fanfare behind it, and they just nail it out of the park. It was one of those games that was on my radar, but I did not think I would enjoy it largely like I did. I had the pleasure of playing through it with the assassin Luca, and what a great time it was. Like I said, it was a game that made us laugh. It's a game that made us smile. It's a game that made us even curse at each other at one point. It just brought out the best of us and almost the worst of us trying to cooperate in this game. It was so much fun. Great platform, amazing graphics. It doesn't get enough credit for its graphics, but they're really good. They were shining on the Series X, like unbelievable. The rendering, it really was one of the first games in a long time, outside of again like Ratchet and Clank, which almost felt like you were brought into the world of a Disney Pixar film with a great little story and a message behind it, and just all about cooperation. A game that really defines what co-op means, because most of the levels really they need that partner. It's not like something you can kind of say, well, I don't have a partner, it's really not going to work. This game largely and if their stuff, Haze Light and the games they've done in the past, they exemplify it. It was just amazing, and I can't tell people enough. You know what? It's an ingenious game, great level design. It's almost like 4 or 5 video games in one, because every level has so many variety of things and different bosses and different ways to engage that really does feel like you're playing more than just a straight up platformer where level to level it feels largely the same. This game does it totally different. It is great. I totally recommend it. And the best part is you don't even have to own your own copy. You can find someone with you. You can still play with them. You won't get the achievos, but that's okay. You can still have fun and play. They have a free download. So the excuse not to play it, there you go. And as far as disappointments, boy, it was tough because, like I said, I didn't get to play as many games as I would have liked to this year. I will say, after completing the game, in all fairness, the medium. Now, I did enjoy the medium, but I think the medium had a lot of potential and never hit its mark. I think it could have looked better graphically. I'm glad it wasn't a survival horror where it was constantly about ammo and this, that, and something else. I plotted the story, and there was some really ingenious work again with the worlds and stuff like that. But I just felt like the medium was could have been cooked a little bit longer, could have had a little bit more, but and it was supposed to be technically a showpiece title for the series consoles, and I don't know. I think it just missed its mark, but I think it was good. Team Bloober did a pretty good job, and I'd like to see where they take it next. And I would love to see a potential sequel, but it might not happen. But that's my games to this point, guys.
Well, they made that game with the 2 dudes in prison at the beginning, right? And you got to escape. I can't fucking remember what the fuck to call it.
A Way Out.
A Way Out, and that game was fucking awesome too.
Yeah, Hazel.
Those guys are top notch at like co-op games like that, man.
Yes. So, Luca, are you staying just till we wrap up, or you need to take off ASAP here?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hop off. Yeah, I got work at 7 tomorrow. So.
All right. Well, Tony Baloney's coming on.
Hi, Luca.
Thank you for
Good
being
night,
here.
Luca.
People know where they can catch you, and when's the next upcoming episode of Scumcast?
All right, the next episode of Scumcast will be Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate it. If you guys want to catch me or talk to me about anything, you can talk to me on Twitter at the Ashen Luca. Just DM me. My DMs are open. So, all right. Thanks, boys. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Good night.
See you,
Peace,
Luca.
Luca.
See you, Luca. Thanks for being
joining.
here.
Hi, Luca.
Fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Guys, go check her out, guys. She's a phenomenal little spark plug in the community. You cannot keep her silence for long. YouTube, do not even try. She will find a way to beat you. Okay. Well, let's bring in a man who is never very silent as well. Whoa!
He's not silent.
No, he's not silent. He's got stuff to say. It's the one, the only
he's
Tony
got
Baloney.
He's got stuff to say tonight. Let me tell you something else. Okay? I'm not Mooch. Look, I'm a separate guy. I'm up here, and that scumbag is down there. That little
Hey, he
square down
proved
there.
it.
Okay? Unbelievable. Now, let me tell you something. Now, I know Luca just left, but I had a couple things I had to say to her, but it's okay. She can listen to it after. But I'll tell you one thing. I know she has that soul Scumcast. Okay? Well, it's kind of ironic. On this panel, we got a scumbag, Titan Drago. You know what, Luca? Take him. We don't want him on this show anymore. You can take him on the Scumcast, and we just call it Scumcast featuring Scumbag. Perfect. Now, another thing I want to get out of my system very quickly is pizza. There's bullshit going on with this fucking pizza, this and that, whatever. Let me tell you something. If the pizza's thicker than a woman, then I'm not going down on it, okay? I'm not going to be eating. I want it hard, skinny, and thin like Titan Drago's penis. That's the way I like my pizza. Now, another thing. Speaking of Titan Drago. Oh, by the way, before we get back to Titan Drago and all the dribble that's been coming out of his mouth for the last 2 hours, let me tell you something. This chat's been on fire tonight, and people have been going back and forth, people having fun, some people arguing, and then I got to give a shout out to this Dizzy Delta 27 right in the middle of all that bullshit. He just types in, I have to poop. That's it. He wins. He wins the internet for the whole night. It's unbelievable. I thought it was so funny. But anyways, yes, back to Titan Drago, because that's what we're here to talk about. Let me tell you something. Titan Drago, listening to you crying about Call of Duty and Warzone and everything. I know what Titan's penis looks like. Don't worry about how I know. What? I'm only allowed to subscribe to OnlyFans with women? I can do it with men too. How do you think I got that bathroom pic of him in that green water that he was in? I paid $5 for that. American, which is like $400 Canadian. It's unbelievable. Anyways, back to Titan Drago. Let me tell you something. Crying about this COD reveal and the Warzone and the boo-hoos and the boo-fuckity-hoos and all this. You know what you sounded like when you were screaming? You sounded like Elmo on crack. It sounded like Elmo after some crystal meth or something. You're like, I want to reveal now. You can wait 48 hours, scumbag. It's coming out. Don't worry about it. And then you could be disappointed in 2 days from now. Last thing about
right
Titan
about
Drago
that.
before I take a question from the chat. Titan, don't interrupt me.
Community, man. Fucking, we got the Mooch on here too.
I already said something about
He already
the
did.
He
He already covered me.
Come on.
Been well behaved. He was well behaved tonight. He had to put up with a lot of shit.
Thank you, Tony.
Pussy ass Mooch
Thank
coverage.
you, Tony.
He had to put up with a lot of shit in the chat, just like Mag does when he goes on Crossfire. And then I look at the chat and they go, who's this fucking imposter? Why does he keep talking about Game Pass? I don't want to see this guy. Where the fuck is Crap Gamer? I keep seeing it all over every time I'm on Crossfire. Unbelievable. Not me, but that Mag guy. Anyhow, Titan Drago, last thing before I take a question from the chat. Let me tell you something. You were talking earlier about someone put you in charge of like a nuclear submarine with national
I wasn't the
security.
fucking captain.
Okay, but still, they put you on a nuclear sub with national security. I wouldn't even put you in charge of mall security. Okay? Unbelievable. What the hell is that country going to? Jesus Christ, Titan Drago. They should have like those. Don't they have those mental checks? You know? Jesus. I'm gonna be calling the U.S. military tomorrow. I want to talk to them about this. Anyways, before we get off for the evening, does anybody in the chat have any questions for me before I disappear for the evening?
Well,
shit,
good
I
talk,
mean, fuck,
assholes.
you ain't
Come on.
spent. Shit,
Huh?
man. Went
Yo.
hard on my ass tonight.
Hey, Titan, I had to, man.
Hey, let's not forget about Noof, man. Shit.
Noof hasn't done anything
With his
either.
fucking cat on his fucking camera and shit. You could
That's
say
right,
pussy or something.
yeah, I had to show you my little pussy on camera.
Please don't.
Hey, it's all about the day of he, she, and everything in between.
Well,
You can't even say that nowadays, man. I'll tell you, this binary thing is real.
Binary code, bitch.
any questions for the Tony Baloney before I head off for the
Yeah,
evening?
well, how about you, man? Tony Baloney, what kind of video games do you actually like to play? What would be your game of the year contender? Something with STDs in it or something?
No. My game of the year is actually something that I play every weekend with the Mag's wife and her mother. It's called It Takes Three. Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
Never heard of it, but I sound like I'd like to play that one.
Oh yeah, no. It's a really good game. It's fantastic. No, it's a lot of fun. It's a little awkward at Thanksgiving dinner, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, it's just it is what it is.
I'm gonna edit
creep.
Wait. I'm gonna edit Creepy Bomb's question a little bit here. He says, Tony,
Bomb?
you can answer how many licks does it take to get the cream out of fucking the center of Titan Drago's penis?
Whoa.
Well, it depends on how much I put on the OnlyFans. I mean, the guy asked for tips. I only give $5 at a time. I mean, Jesus Christ, I barely super chat. You think I'm going to do anything else just to lick Titan Drago's penis? It's ridiculous. Unbelievable question.
God,
Who you feel
that?
ripped off $5 for green bath water?
Yeah,
Iceman comes in with $4.99 super chat. Tony, here's $5 for Smite water.
Hey, Smite water. It's the same as the toilet water after a long night of drinking. Same thing.
Right. Did we have a question? I thought I saw a question. Oh, look, Axel's tormenting you again. Tony, what's your game of the year and why is it Boyfriend Dungeon?
Oh,
Axel, you've been on fire. You've been on fire lately. You know what? I gotta say, for like 2 weeks in a row, you've left Tony almost speechless. I think that we should have a Titan Drago's corner with Axel 1324 or asshole 1324, as I like to call him these days. Asshole 1324 gaming. You should get your ass on here. We should do a Titan Drago's corner one of these nights.
that is the best fucking idea you've ever had. Fucking next week, if you can
Axel
do
needs
it,
to be here.
let's do that shit,
Axel,
man. Fucking
if you
fucking
got time
Tony
to sit in the
versus
chat
Axel.
and talk shit, then you got time to sit your ass on this panel. Get your ass over here next week. I'm taking you on, sucker.
Tony,
Let's go.
start writing jokes now.
Hey.
I don't have to write
Not
jokes.
Tony.
Mag
All I have to
versus
all I have to do to beat him is complete a sentence. That's pretty much it. He's finished. The belt ain't going nowhere, buddy. Look, the
shit.
belt's right here. The belt's right here. You want the belt? It's right there. And if you don't want the belt, about 3 inches below it, I got something else for you. There you go.
The strap.
So you know what's 1 inch below mine. So
Yeah, not much. So anyhow, sounds like Tony Baloney's going to be signing off for the evening. I got to prepare for this fight next week. So everybody, listen, have a great week. Have a good night. Mooch, thanks for coming on. Ashen, Luca, thank you guys for coming on. I'll see you all next week.
There you go. The
Thanks,
superstar
Tony.
himself. He is
The great Tony
Alrighty.
Baloney.
great Tony Baloney.
you're a fat
Unbelievable.
monkey, a vagina.
Well, let's let everybody get out of here. Came in pretty good for this kind of panel. I'm surprised we can actually wrap it up relatively on time, but it's been an absolute blast. And let's let our phenomenal guests get out of here so you can get some shut eye and get prepared for the next day. And that is the one, the only, the Mooch. Again, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on here, man. It's always a fun time when you can catch up with us, and we really enjoyed having you here. Like always, enjoy your take and opinions on things, and let people know where they can catch up with you, your channel, and what's going down on Crossfire this Friday.
Absolutely, Noof. Great to be on Gaming After Dark again. Like I said, I wish this was just a little bit earlier. It does wrap up around a little after midnight here in New York. But nonetheless, I got to say, it's a lot of fun. You guys bring a lot of energy. Energy is the last thing that's lacking on this show. This show, I'll be honest with you guys, there's a lot of times, sometimes I'm even doing work after 10 o'clock. I kick you guys on, and honestly, you perk everybody right up, man. You're so lively. Love the show, and love the energy. Titan, middle age. You don't have to say anything. Mag, Tony Baloney, and the great Noof Nukem. Guys, I got to tell you, thank you for having me. You guys know where to find me. It's at the Mooch. No, it's at Mooch 1978 on Twitter. It is the Mooch 78 on YouTube. Go over there, check it out. We got a great crossfire coming up for you guys this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I want to say shout out to the Ashen Luca, who is just phenomenal. I love having her on the show. I love that she was here tonight. Just a great overall show, and actually great conversation with Titan earlier tonight. Really had a good time discussing things with him. And it's funny because, that's the whole thing, Noof, is what we discussed. And Titan is what really brings it home. You know what I mean? He's the one that really brings it home, because I'll tell you, like me and Titan, a lot of times, Titan, you know this, right? Me and you won't agree on the same thing, but we still have a great way to meet in the middle.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about. I love it.
Fuck if you finish my sentence. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what it's all about.
When are you guys going to start dating? Jesus Christ.
Take it easy, Mag.
Next week.
If Mooch tells me he's playing fucking Smite, it's all over.
Yo, guys, you guys are awesome, man. Thanks for having me tonight. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Again, guys, everyone in the chat, don't have to agree with me, but just have fun, man. Like, Noof does radio for a living, or he did it for a long time. I respect him so much for that. And, I've been podcasting since 2014. And I got to tell you, it's something I truly love to do. You know what I mean? And the fact that you come on and you can have a polarizer, a different take on things with people on the panel, that's what it's all about. I think that's what it's all about. Like, I don't want to just agree all the time. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's great to have great open conversation, a pleasant disagreement, and a great finale to it. And that's what this show was. So, guys, thank you for bringing the laughs, the gaming news, and thank you for the invite.
Well, I think we have a podcast that doesn't take itself too seriously. We like to have a lot of fun. And you know what? The best compliment we get time and time again is people that, come to us in the chat and they say, I really enjoyed the show, but you know what? You cheered me up. You made me laugh. I was in tears on my way to work, or, you made my day better. And there's no better feeling than that, than knowing, you know what? You took a little bit off somebody's mind. And that's what it's all about. It's not just the gaming side of things. We all game, but that we can do this and bring a little enjoyment to people. And that's what makes me happy. And that's what makes it worthwhile. It's not about the money for me. I'm never going to make a fortune at this shit. I'm a small change YouTuber, but I've been very fortunate to have, I think, two of the best guys in the podcasting game on my same show with Titan and Mag. Wouldn't have it any other way. Very fortunate, and I love the fact that we can hang on here every Tuesday. So thanks for being here, Mooch. You're awesome. And I look forward to being back on Crossfire if I can ever get a damn Friday, but I will definitely let you know.
The invitation's always there, Noof. You know that. I got to get Titan on too.
Brother.
Absolutely.
That's good, bro.
Because Mag's been on, even though people think it's just me talking to myself.
Well, like I said, you guys don't sound alike, but you do have a very similar delivery.
It's the delivery. It really is.
It's the genes.
Yeah, it's the genes.
Yeah, well, it is that too, right? He's originally from the East Coast, right? Mag's Italian. I'm Italian.
I'm still East Coast. I'm
That's right. You are. That's true. That's true.
I just sure as hell hope you don't look like that ugly mug. That's all I care about.
This is not ugly.
Come on, leave Mag alone.
Ruggedly handsome.
That's great.
I told
That's what my wife's mom says. Anyway,
I said middle-aged game guy looks like a dehydrated Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, stop it!
Yeah, ever since I lost all that weight, yeah. Anyhow,
he should put the fucking vest on and sit in the chair or something. That'd be funny.
Mag, next time you come out, you gotta smash 2 beers together, man.
I do that anyway.
Every time Mag comes on, the Tony Baloney intro.
Do that. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Yeah, I
there you go.
Pull it off.
Almost getting there.
Almost.
All right. Well, since he's chatting on the mic, Mag, let people know where they can catch up with you, my fine brother.
Yes, well, guys, it was a great show tonight. Epic show, epic chat. What an incredible chat we had tonight. Mooch, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Ashen, Luca, thank you also for coming on the show tonight. The queen of YouTube. But yes, you can follow me on Twitter at the Middle Age Game Guy. That's with a GY at the end, of course. On the gaming side of things on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. You can find me at all one word, all capitals, because I don't know how to be quiet. I am the Mag. That is with 2 G's. You can find me here every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Noof Nukem, Titan Drago, and always a fine guest, except for next week, which is Axel. So that's a bit of a downer. Anyhow, on Gaming After Dark, Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern, you can find me on Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL and friends. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on. Guys, you want to check out my latest video on Twitter? Sure to piss a lot of people off. But guys, at the end of the day, you know what? It's all just fun and games. And don't worry, my sister is coming back on Twitter later this week. I got another video coming out, so it should be pretty funny. But anyways, check that out. Keep your eyes out for it if you want a few laughs.
Wait, did you say your sister?
You know
the redhead?
My sister, the redhead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's coming back. So don't worry about it. But anyways, guys, it was a great night. Great show. Everybody have a great evening. See you all next week.
And the man who needs very little introduction or even an outro, because he can definitely bring the heat when he wants to. We love his rants. It's the one and only man who brings the common back to sense each and every week. Titan Drago, and who gets your dubious award this week?
My Common Sense Award winner for this week, and it says his second time winning this since I started keeping track, Chase Jones, for giving a fake damn fucking, giving a fake fucking... You know what I'm trying.
He can't even speak.
You know what I'm trying to say? He's giving a fake damn about Smite in his gamer card. You know what I mean? He's like, oh man, I gotta earn my gamer card. Fuck, I gotta play 5 hours of Smite. Okay, I'm on it. Fucking Chase Jones, man, you're the fucking real MVP over here. You win my Common Sense gamer. Let's all be a little bit more like Chase Jones. And yeah, man. As far as the panel tonight, fucking top motherfucking notch. You just, man alive, just all stars all around that I'm surrounded with. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
Tonight was such an amazing night, man. Absolutely, Mooch. You deserve it, man. You've been doing this a long time, and I got to give you this much, Mooch. I've seen you take a lot of heat over the years, and I'll tell you this much, man. You got a lot of tact, which is probably what I lack. From time to time, you know, sometimes I let my emotions get the better of me, but sure, when you turn that mic on, man, it never seems like you do, man. And that's something to tip your hat off.
Thank you. Honestly, that really means a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Truly.
And till next time, everybody, let's bring the common back to sense.
You guys know where to find me, but maybe you want to find out where this guy is, because I can see a little support in the chat. Hey, come on in here, buddy.
Well, he's fiddly-diddly. That's right. It's late as hell. You know, I can't be a great show if you don't at least get me here for a couple of seconds, you know, just to say hello to all you guys and gals and everybody that's in the chat and all you awesome people. My God, what a fucking goddamn really good fucking podcast this was tonight. Let me tell you, make me want to drink a lot of beer. You had the Mooch up in here. You had the Ashen, Luca. My God, this was a real doozy of a show. Real fiddly-diddly here. Yes, indeed. You guys know where to find me. Probably in the pig's pen. But, you know, it's always a good time when these guys is on the show. So, yeah, everybody, you guys is awesome. We'll catch y'all later. Now, you have a good night, y'all.
There you go, Cletus. And you guys know where to find me, always in the gutter. Back here again next Tuesday and on Sunday morning with Axel and company for Good Morning Xbox at 9 a.m. Eastern. Yes, the PG family-oriented version of Noof Nukem. It's hard to do, but I try my best, let me tell you. But anyway, guys, it's been a phenomenal show. Thanks again to our amazing guest, Mooch, and the Ashen Luca, and as well to my incredible panel, the middle-aged game guy, Titan Drago, you know, Safe House Sam, Ernie, and, of course, Tony Baloney. We wish you all well, and we'll see you back here next Tuesday. Take care, everybody.